Hello. Soup. Let's see this.
Tonight I'm making an Asian-inspired soup that is super fast, comforting, and easy. I was gonna order out, but why do that when I know I can make it at home for cheaper? Any night of the week. It's all about balancing and making some small choices that really elevate the flavor. So these are the ingredients I'm gonna be using, and we're just gonna get right into it. Crank on that boiling water. Shiitake mushrooms. I have a dozen dried shiitake mushrooms. I actually picked these up when I was at the farm up in New Jersey. So I have one of these. Just gonna add them right to here, and then that boiling water. So this is a pretty quick recipe, but I wanna get these reconstituting. And I'm just gonna add maybe a cup or so.
I'm doing just fine. Just fine.
Of hot boiling water. So while these are soaking, I accidentally bought, the reason why I'm even doing this recipe is because I accidentally bought some silken tofu. So it's definitely much more jiggly than most of the tofus that I use. I don't use this often. So first thing that came to mind is to make this soup. Kind of a hot and sour soup. I'm kind of inspired. I was thinking about ordering out and I'm like, why? I have everything here. Well, I have most things.
Dodo, don't you tell others go ramble in Destiny stream now? You need to pull him back to reality and express your thoughts on why you need to stop cucking to Mom Donnie and cuck pro-Islamic immigration policy. Does he have his Discord open?
Nope. These guys never have the shit I need. Okay.
Are we at like the corner of the map? Is that why I'm getting...
No chance he has his Discord, like, open. He's got to be in, like, one of his gaming servers or just direct chat. Oh, he actually is in there.
Careful, careful. I'm looking.
Would now be a good time to talk about Mom Donnie?
Absolutely not. But tomorrow, I love you.
Okay, take care. All right. Well, I tried. Thanks for the donation, though, Dodo.
To make this. So I'll make my version right now. 3 stars.
Specifically tell him where you agree with Trump on banning Muslim countries from immigrating and whatever else you think is important to mention to him.
All right, well, I'll be able to do that tomorrow, apparently. Thanks for the donation, though, Dodo.
Stalks of celery.
Guess who did an interview with Candace Owens VG?
Oh. Yeah, 2 of the most cancerous people in existence.
Obviously, you remember because we've discussed it before in my podcast studio, such as it was in the garden. This is what I remember thinking. That kind of stardom wasn't possible.
Right.
You've obviously not done that.
And that was his poorly.
Yeah, I'm not watching that. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
Tomorrow then, don't forget VG, okay?
Yeah, sure, I won't forget. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
I'm just gonna slice these super thin. and add a little bit of an angle. Just for that crunchy, nice texture. Just use this here. Okay, we got that. I have about a thumb-sized nub of ginger, and I'm just gonna use a spoon, and I'm just gonna peel this quickly. It's easier to use a spoon. And then today I'm not saving the skin. I'm just gonna cut the ends off. And I'm just gonna slice this into thin slices. And then from there, and I'm just gonna have like long, thin strands here. One clove of garlic, just one this time. And just give that a quick slice. And again, same as the ginger, just some thin strips. For the tofu, because it's much more delicate, I'm just gonna slice it just as it is. And if it breaks, it's fine. But I don't mind. We'll just
What the fuck is Russell Brand thinking doing an interview with a Somon like Candice Owens?
Well, he's quite the piece of shit himself, so it's not surprising. Thanks for the donation, though, Dodo.
I'll lay that over here. The tofu ready. Now for seasonings, it's pretty basic. I'm just gonna use white peppercorns. And we have the ginger and the garlic, but a good amount of white pepper, because every time I have hot and sour soup, it's the most in-your-face ingredient that I really enjoy, and I've been enjoying it a lot more. I'm gonna add about a teaspoon. If you're gonna use powder, I would use less and taste as you go. But the peppercorns, it comes off much more fresh, much more fragrant, and not overpowering, because too much white pepper can kill a dish. You want just the right amount. And I find I get that by grinding my own. It's just delicious. Try not to let any stragglers. Whew. Nice and strong. Set that aside. So now this will all come together pretty quickly. I'm gonna use the Heston today, so this for soup. Crank this on. We'll just start heating that up. Lion's Mane mushroom broth, and these guys are sponsoring this video. I've been working with these guys now for almost close to a year. Amazing product. I'm gonna add it right to the bowl. And now I find this is pretty concentrated, so it allows me to fill it up. I'm actually gonna fill it twice. So double, one with the stock, two filled with water. 1, 2. And I'm gonna bring this to a slow boil. But before that even starts, I'm gonna add the ginger, garlic, and celery right to it. Not gonna be sauteing much in this. This is just a quick soup, weeknight. Don't want too much fuss. I have some scallions, green onion here. Cut off the ends. I'm just gonna slice these super thin as I can. And I'm gonna take it all the way up to the green part. And then once you get to the green parts, I'm gonna slice these about couple centimeters. We'll get 2 different textures. Dried chilies or fresh chilies? If you have dried, use dried. I have some fresh here, so I have 3. I'm going to use 3. You do not have to add these at all. You can just skip it if you don't like spice. I really like spicy, so I'm going to use 3 Thai chilies because they're the most flavorful. This is going to be delicious. And just thinking about eating these chilies makes my mouth water. And anytime I handle them, I make sure to wash my hands. I have these shiitake mushrooms soaking. Now they're still hot and they're not totally hydrated yet, but I want just to have them enough for me to slice them. So I'm just gonna start slicing them. And it's offering a little resistance, but that's okay, because as soon as I slice these, they'll be able to absorb more water in them.
I've already reacted to the Nick Fuentes interview.
And we'll just add them right to the soup. Some are, the smaller ones are done more. Now I'm gonna use that water that they're soaking in, and we're gonna use that right in the soup as well. So jam these out. And then right back into that water. So this is slowly coming up to a boil, and I'm just gonna add the mushrooms right to it. Because I wanna use this container, I'm just gonna add this to this. And we're gonna add this in a minute. But I want this, and I don't want to have to dirty something else. So I have some cornstarch here. 1 teaspoon of cornstarch into this container. And then I'll add a little bit of cold water, probably just a couple tablespoons, just to get that to dissolve. And just make sure that that is dissolved. And I'll set that to the side. I have some organic soy sauce here. I'm just gonna add maybe 4 tablespoons. I also have some rice wine vinegar. I'm gonna add about a 1/4 cup, so about 4 or 5 tablespoons. Just for that sweet and sour. It takes me a minute to find these things because I've been packing all my stuff up. If you notice, I don't have my jars over there because I am once again moving. I am gonna be moving back to New England. And that's gonna happen pretty soon here. I'm gonna add 1 tablespoon of sugar. Just gonna give this a quick taste. Yum. Yum. Man, that mushroom broth is so good. You know what, I might add a little bit more sugar, 2 tablespoons. And also a little bit more vinegar because I didn't get enough of that sour note. Now this is something you can play with and you decide how much you like and enjoy. This is one of the reasons why it's so hard for me to rate recipes, because everybody has different tastes, including me. And I do like to just tailor it to what tastes best. So always use a recipe as a guide. Unless you're baking. Now I'm gonna add the white pepper. And this is slowly coming up to a nice, slow simmering boil. So yeah, the move. I am moving to Vermont. Well, Frankie and I. Up to where the snowy weather is. I have a lot of family up there, a lot of friends. That's where I grew up, not in Vermont, but I've lived in oil. I am gonna taste it. Lots of tasting as we go. It's one very important thing I don't think I talk about enough. Yeah, because as it comes to a boil, it's really starting to activate all those flavors. You get a little bit of the sour notes, and it's not salty at all. As this comes to a boil, before I add the tofu, and everything, I'm gonna thicken it. Cornstarch and water. Make sure it's mixed up, and we're gonna add that right to it. We'll let that cook for a couple minutes. It should be thick enough where it suspends everything in the soup. And it gets a little cloudy first, but then it'll clear away as it cooks up. And we're gonna bring that to a boil. And I think the thickness, okay, I think I might actually add a little bit more because I want it a little bit thicker than this. So about another tablespoon. And another tablespoon of water. And I'll just add that right to it again. That should add the nice thickness I'm looking for. So guys, the move is gonna happen before the new year. So I have to figure out, it's already of this whole project after leaving. More vegetables to something I will. And peas will naturally go with this. So I'm gonna add these right to it now.
I love peas in soup.
And I don't wanna cook this so much that they turn brown. So this is gonna be done in like 5 minutes for that extra. So not only is it good for me, gluten-free, low fats, it's super flavorful. I have so many more ideas to do for the easy.
Might look up more of his soup recipes.
Sitting there, reporting non-stop 24/7 to try to get all these accounts banned. This is crazy. How many times did he do it? What did he think? He's gonna run away from me? He should know better by now. You can't fucked with the wrong guy. Because if there's one person he can't get something over on, it's me.
I do that. Be in front of him. Come on, dog.
And now it's time to teach him a lesson, because we all know how much little Peggy deserves it. So people have been wondering, what's going on with that piece of shit? Because I haven't spoke about him in a while. And you guys know who I'm talking about when I say that, right? Peggy Watson, the original piece of shit. Well, a lot's been going on with him. So much, in fact, I don't even want to know all the juicy details. I mean, come on, that name Peggy, that didn't come from nowhere. And as we all know, he's in the middle of 2 court cases, and he wants to do whatever he can to look better for the judge, including dirty things, slimy things behind the scenes to cover things up and shut people down. But as always, I caught the little bitch. And now, wait until I show you what that little bitch has been doing. So the last time we spoke about this asshole and we saw him, he was with the Island Fuckboys and Jack Epstein the shithead, and they all had their clothes off. They were doing things, and we all don't want to know what they were doing. And then, you know, that was right after his ex Angie left him, and he became a crazy stalker, calling her nonstop over and over, and which ended up him spiraling out of control, going back to his old habits. Well, that's the last time we spoke about him, and a lot has happened since. He's been spiraling further and further down that hole of partying, of sharmutas, of doing things that he's not supposed to be doing. And the thing that's ironic about all of it, remember how he's always like, you know, making fun of people for 10-inch arms and tits, right? Well, if you look at him now, take a look at him in this footage and photos, karma's a bitch. Because if there's one person now who's got the 10-inch arms and tits, it's him, because he's turning into a little twink boy.
That's what you're fucking saying.
Yeah, he's doing cocaine rather than steroids now.
I mean, what do you like, San Diego, Vegas? I like Miami. I can't do San Diego anymore, so. Vegas for what? Or from Miami to Vegas, I can be in Vegas for like 48 hours. I don't know how people even do it here, but you're crazy.
But then I was thinking, you know, maybe he's doing that on purpose because he's going to be spending time in prison. Maybe he wants to be more attractive to the other inmates. But remember I was saying, you know, about the stalking Angie? You would think it's been months that it would stop, right? But no, it's gotten worse. He's become like Jodi Arias. You guys remember that sharmuta that killed her ex-boyfriend? That's what this fucker is becoming when I tell you this story. You remember his other ex-girlfriend, Gabby? The sharmuta with those lips, right? The one that, you know, was an actual escort and we found her ad. Well, one of them, anyway, because we know he does this all the time. He thought it would be a good idea to take her, right? Rent a private jet, bring a couple of her friends, go to Vegas where now Angie lives, right? And she's working at the strip club over there, right? He thought it was a good idea to take them all, right? Go to Vegas. First start calling her phone nonstop like a psychopath again. Then, worse, show up at her strip club with them and then wonder why they kicked him out.
So this is a new record. But we know why. I didn't get to go in, Rhino, and I was already kicked out. I'm kicked out of Tootsie's. Hopefully we can reinstate that. I didn't even get to go in. I was already done. I've been there since before prison. Since before I was locked up, I have not been there. I was already kicked out. Why do you think? Spearman Rhino ain't paying.
Dude, if this guy was such a baller, he wouldn't be obsessing over his ex like this. Like, and it's funny too, his ex is a single mom. Like, it's the most meme shit ever. Like, this guy cannot fucking get laid. Unless he pays for it. And again, single mom. Like, it's so bad.
Paying that much right now, huh? Like, there's just nobody getting lap dances. You only get a few bucks. Should have let me come in that night, because I spent a few bucks, kiddo.
So this asshole's doing everything he can to try to make Angie jealous, but she doesn't give a fuck. In fact, she's putting out a tell-all podcast soon. So wait until we see the stories that she has to tell, because we know she's got a ton of them.
I make sure we feed him every once in a while.
Well, she's hungry, huh?
She's a monster. You have to feed her every once in a while. Every once in a while.
They're hungry. They're hungry.
They're hungry too. They're hungry. Yeah, and still doesn't make any money. They never show the real part. I show the real parts. This is why everybody's so fake online. They don't show the real shit. They talk shit to you when you go to a strip club, but they work at one. Okay? They don't show you that. They're all fucking fake. But I'm still thriving, bitch. I gave more money out this weekend to simple bitches than that bitch will ever have in her fucking life. That's ever had in her account. So just check it out. Just check it out. Go be someone's side chick, you dumb bitch.
And you know something else that I noticed, because I saw this picture, someone sent me off Reddit of his shoes, right? Because while he was in that private jet sharmutaing around, right? If you look inside his shoe, notice something over here. Regular Chucks, okay? Let me show you this picture first. There's a logo inside. Now, if you look at the little bitches Chucks, notice there's no logo. And you know why? You know why there's no logo? Well, first, before I say why there's no logo, look at the laces. Notice the laces in this picture. You notice how they're always open on top, okay? Well, they sell these lifts that you put in your shoes to make you taller. And if you put them in, you can't fit your foot in. So the laces have to be undone. And that's why there's no logo inside those shoes. So this asshole has...
Okay, so yeah, he's wearing lifts, confirmed.
As we know, is so insecure, the little bitch with tits, right? He has to put lifts in his shoes to make himself taller, the little asshole.
Everyone is confused when I wear these on the first day of school. They add up 3 inches to your height. Tag your short friend who needs these.
Jeez.
Well, now, let's get to the real dirty shit that this guy's been doing to cover shit up for court. I mean, we all know there's thousands of videos online of this asshole spread everywhere, right? Of him doing and saying stupid things. But there's a few channels, that have a lot more than others. And as we saw, I'm going to refresh your memory, we saw Mudpit's channel. He had dozens, countless, maybe hundreds of videos on Wes, right? Channel was taken down. And then after that, a week later, my channel was under attack. Reddit, mysteriously, is down. The main Reddit that has all those thousands of people that talk shit on this bitch all day and night. It was down, which is now back up. But then, a bigger one, and I'm not going to mention the name here because they're trying to clear out, the issues to try to get their account back. But you know me, I can get my hands on shit. And it turns out, this little asshole, okay, is sitting there reporting shit non-stop 24/7 to try to get all these accounts banned. And if you look at these email addresses, these are all his email addresses. So this little bitch, okay, he sits there, remember, calling us all rats. right? For saying the shit we do online about him.
It's like, do you guys realize that your whole life is based off of me? Oh, God. Oh, God. Why do you want me to, like, be some rat telling stories about people? Have you guys noticed by now I don't do that? That's what you motherfuckers do. Talk about me, talk about this, talk about that. Rat. Bullshit.
But when you look at this and what you're doing to shut people up to hide your own bullshit online, who's the fucking rat now, you piece of shit? And now, the funniest one. Even though there's no direct proof connecting West to this incident that I'm gonna show you, from his other behavior, this allegedly could have happened. One account that I guess his reporting bullshit didn't work, right? You know what he tried to do to him? He tried to scare him. He had some bullshit account, right? Send this guy a message of a fake court document.
Killing Titan donated $2. Let me see. Oh. Yeah. I think that kitty didn't know what he was getting into. Thanks for the donation, Killing Titan.
Saying he's gonna sue him unless he takes shit down, but I looked into it, and that case number is a bunch of bullshit. So this asshole is trying every single thing he can to cover up his tracks and take people down. But the ironic shit about this is I'm in contact with all the lawyers that are involved in this case, right? In both cases. And they have a binder, actually not a binder no more, a folder full of all the videos this asshole had up, even the ones he took down. So all this shit he's doing is not gonna matter. And you know the funny thing, I'm gonna share the story with you. In court, right? Because it's going on right now, the Silva case, and we can't give all the details about what's going on because it's ongoing, right? They played a video of me in the fucking court. So imagine that asshole's face when he saw my face on that screen. He probably had a heart attack, that piece of shit. And again, he calls us rats. But now I have all these reports from his email address, right? Reporting everybody else. So now let's see what happens to this little bitch in court, because again, all the details are coming.
How many fights in prison? I mean, in county prison, you can't really fight. But I mean, if, probably 7. I mean, what are you?
Wes Watson's a dumb motherfucker, dude.
But in
Seriously.
general,
I don't know why people just can't help themselves. It's bizarre.
All the most tried and true studies when it comes to repeatable high impact was like 3 to 6 milligrams a kilogram.
No, Derek, that is not true. Coach Greg, and in today's video, Derek is on Joe Rogan again, and it's for close to 3 hours. And so in case you missed it, I'm going to give you a summary of some of the highlights. And so, of course, the comments bombarded.
Okay, so that's a new video setup he has. I wonder if he got a new camera. The lighting, I don't know if it's just the lighting, but the camera looks different. No, maybe it's just the lighting.
Looks like Frank may have uploaded a new long-form vid.
Let me take a look. No, nothing new. We already watched these two yesterday. Yeah, he just has 2 new shorts. But thanks for the donation, James.
Plastic surgery is not like...
Wanna make another $70? I'll pay you $70 to reenact this accurately.
Fit, right? I guess he's fucking fat powerlifter and he's not in shape because he fainted doing overhead press. Fuck you.
You're a fucking idiot. Yeah, let's see how, out of shape I am, huh? You wanna fight me in a fucking cage and see how out of shape I am? I guess I don't have to be in great shape to fight you, would I, dipshit? I just have to smash you on your fucking head!
I'll reenact that for $70, sure. Thanks for the donation, Killian Titan. What's the most expensive bike you bought? That would be the Ural sidecar. Yeah, the Ural has so far been the most expensive bike I bought.
Other businesses. Really, surgery in general and a lot of what doctors do is a complete scheme. Like, I just sell steak. I try to get the highest quality meat possible and sell it at the most affordable price. That's all I'm doing. These doctors have a whole strategy from start to finish to make as much money as possible. Of course, there are nuances to my business, but these people take it to a level where they compromise integrity, morality, and they do some very evil things. Starting at the very beginning, even when you're just looking for your doctor, the search algorithms and reviews are controlled. So they might put that doctor at the top of the search, and all of his reviews might be fake, and all of the negative reviews are taken away. So his reputation is...
Google has been forced to sell Google Chrome because it was determined to be a monopoly. So there was really shady shit that they were doing with search engine optimization. They can't do that anymore. So it's just not really a thing.
Is completely fabricated and propped up, and all of the botched cases and bad cases are removed because these search engines and these people at Google are just as guilty as these doctors. They should also be in jail and imprisoned for being responsible for botching so many patients. And then when you get to the office, in regards to your treatment, the doctor will push unnecessary procedures and try to get you to do something under any circumstance. Their goal is to upsell as much as possible, and that's partially why
that is not the case when you go to a good plastic surgeon.
I was botched. I already paid over $30,000 for my eye procedures, and then literal day before the surgery, the doctor said, "Oh, you should do a 2-stage decompression."
He's lying. He literally made a video where he admitted he's the one who suggested this to the doctor, and the doctor told him he doesn't recommend it.
And it's going to be $9,000 more. So he charged my credit card for $9,000 more, and guess what? That medial decompression that botched the inside of my eye was the reason I had all these complications. So the doctor's greed in upselling me on surgery and charging me for unnecessary procedures that I didn't.
Like, by the way, what kind of a fucking retard the day before surgery would agree to some procedure that they know nothing about on their eyes? Like this is just so stupid. This whole story doesn't make any fucking sense.
Truly need was another aspect of the problem. And it gets even worse afterwards. After they have your money, they have no obligation to you. They don't care. After they got the money, a lot of doctors will just ignore you. Some will pretend to help. A lot of them will try to drain your financial resources even further. You'll go to lawyers that'll suck your wallet dry and not actually help you. They'll send you to their buddy doctors that'll take money from you and pretend to treat you and try to help you. And the worst part about all of it is the gaslighting. These doctors are taught to gaslight, which is basically an extreme form of lying and manipulation. They gaslight their patients into believing nothing's wrong with them. They say the same thing over and over again to get the patient to believe that nothing's wrong with them and it's all in their head and that everything's actually okay, because they don't want liability, they don't want to be penalized, and they don't want to lose money.
Gag order to stop talking about it.
All this stuff happening to Whistling Diesel
I've had the same thing, but worse. They just issued the gag order outright, which is a violation of my freedom of speech. It's actually against the law. You cannot receive a gag order unless you are found guilty in court.
I'm pretty sure that's not true. There are circumstances that can happen in court where they can prohibit you from speaking about certain things. So if there's like a risk to a witness or something, they can stop you from speaking about the witness.
And that's not what happened to me. After the default was filed, the judge just issued a gag order and said I can no longer say that this guy steals my research. Basically, everything that I was saying, which I thought was completely truthful and honest and
Oh yeah, and this reasoning made absolutely no sense. So he lost via default judgment. He said because he lost via default judgment, they can't order him to, not talk about certain things like, the gag order. So he never showed up to court. That's why he lost via default judgment. So what he's saying is, all you need to do is never show up to court, and then the court can never prevent you from, not saying anything. It's just fucking retarded.
And just defending myself in my own work. The judge, this crooked judge, just does whatever he wants. But who's going to police these judges? The higher court? I have filed multiple appeals, and
we've looked at his appeals. They're fucking unhinged. He's schizophrenic, and he starts talking about the Illuminati and shit. It's just this guy is so fucking cracked.
And there's really something to say about how power hungry and demonic some of these people are.
Yeah, dude, Frank is just absolutely cracked.
Let's get it. You're out of shape because you fainted doing overhead press.
Alright. Thanks for the donation, Killian Titan. I will try and reenact this to the best of my ability.
Fit, right? I guess he's fucking fat powerlifter and he's not in shape because he fainted doing overhead press. Fuck you. You're a fucking idiot. Yeah, let's see how, out of shape I am, huh? You wanna fight me in a fucking cage and see how out of shape I am? I guess I don't have to be in great shape to fight you, would I, dipshit? I just have to smash you on your fucking head! Unfit, right? I guess he's fucking fat powerlifter and he's not in shape because he fainted doing overhead press. Fuck you. You're a fucking idiot. Yeah, let's see how, out of shape I am, huh? You wanna fight me
Holy fuck.
in a fucking cage and see how out of shape I am? I guess I don't have to be in great shape to fight you, would I, dipshit? I just have to smash you on your fucking head!
I just need to remember the lines.
Unfit, right? I guess he's fucking fat powerlifter and he's not in shape because
Oh, I'm unfit, right? I guess he's just a fat powerlifter because he fainted during overhead press.
Fuck you, dipshit. Oh, if I'm so out of shape, then fuck.
because he fainted doing overhead press. Fuck you. You're a fucking idiot. Yeah, let's see how, out of shape I am, huh? You wanna fight me in a
Okay, I think I got it now.
I guess I'm out of shape, right? He's just a fat powerlifter because he fainted during overhead press.
Fuck you, you fucking idiot. Yeah, let's see how out of shape I am. You wanna fight me in a fucking cage? Well, I guess I don't have to be in great shape to fight you, would I, dickhead? Because all I have to do is smash you on your fucking head! There you go. That is the reenactment. Thanks for the donation, Killian Titan. Son Goku donated $2. My bench press strength has taken a nosedive since I'm only able to train once a week due to heavy work schedule followed by dieting. What are some ways I can structure my programming to get my strength back? Heavy weight, lower reps. Well, get it back. Like, I mean, if you have a fucked up work schedule and you're still dieting, I wouldn't really focus on trying to increase your strength. If anything, I'd just focus on trying to maintain whatever strength you have. So, you're only able to train once a week. So if you're only able to train once a week, and you care about particular lifts like your bench, you might want to bias your workouts to have more volume for your chest. And if you want to maintain your strength within a given rep range, then I would make sure to do bench within that rep range and then just do whatever additional volume you need to maintain your muscle mass. That's how I would kind of go about things if you can only train once a week. Thanks for the donation though, Son Goku. Hope that helps.
Also, freedom of speech does not mean freedom from consequences. Why doesn't anyone get that?
I don't know, man. It's almost as if people are entitled retards. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
Can you check this video? Watch it to the end and read the comments cause it is wild.
Past week, I've been feeding my vegan girlfriend meat without her knowing. And I know that sounds crazy, but my girlfriend has been getting super skinny because of her vegan diet. So I decided to run a little science experiment to see if I can help her gain some weight. For the first day, I swapped out her vegan sausage with the real
There's no, it's just fake.
sausage, and she honestly couldn't tell the difference. Then on day 2, I made her lunch for work.
This is clearly fake.
But instead of using her plant-based meat, I replaced it with ground beef, and she said it tasted a little funny, but she still ate it anyways. On day, and I honestly
This is obviously fake rage bait.
using real eggs instead of her vegan on day 6, but toward sure you guys
Yeah, this is just rage bait. You're doing God work. Congratulations, not being terminally online. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Like, this is just fake rage bait, stupid shit. Thanks for the donation, dude. Blink donate $2. What are your thoughts on this Reddit post? Frank's financial numbers from his court filings. He's trying to avoid paying court fees by submitting financial disclosures, but the details change depending on the case. Both filings, he lists basic monthly expenses of around $2,300 and only reports about $200 per month in income, with no mention of any business revenue and no explanation of how he's paying the bills he claims to have. What an idiot. But then in the Saladino case, he adds $40,000 per month in credit card debt to his expenses. In the Taban case, there's no reference at all to a $40K monthly credit card bill, even though both filings were submitted around the same time. There are also some other sketchy claims in the Taban paperwork, like Frank saying he's disabled and receiving food stamps. What? He has a food company, too, by the way. Credit card companies don't let someone rack up $40,000 every month with no payments. Card would be frozen or sent straight to collections. If he's listing something as a recurring monthly expense, he should be showing where the money to pay it is coming from. It was shown in court that Frank's business made almost $5 million in 2024. Well, he actually made over $5 million. There's like a few sources of revenue. There was the Frankie's free range meat, but there's also like these huge PayPal payments coming in. I don't know what that's from. That might also be related to the Frankie's free range meat thing. But he took in like $1 million from PayPal, and then it was like over $4 million from Frankie's free range meat. So the most reasonable assumption is that he's using business income to cover those credit card charges and other expenses, yet he leaves all that out in the filings where he's trying to dodge court fees. As for the food stamp claims, if he's actually receiving them, that might explain why he keeps making videos angry about his business supposedly can't accept EBT. Be another one of his scams. Yeah, well, What in the fuck? Yeah, this is... How does he think anybody is gonna buy this? Why does it... 205? Is that what that says? Total monthly income 205. But he has to pay $2,300 a month for basic expenses? Like none of this makes any fucking sense. He's such a fucktard. Like, as if anybody is gonna... Installment payments, credit card, 40,000. Like, what? Installment payments. I don't know how much you'd have to put on your credit card to have $40,000 in monthly payments. Like what? The interest rates are usually around 20%. So he would have to have like hundreds of thousands. Yeah, on his... That would be like 200 grand on his credit card. Oh, fucking cat. Yeah, he's a fucktard, dude. Just absolute idiot. Thanks for the donation, though, Blink.
What is rage bait?
It's just videos or content that's made to just drum up attention by annoying people, and it's just fake. Thanks for the donation, though, James. Elias donated $2. Didn't expect this position from Gary, to be honest. The conversation only lasts for a couple of minutes before he rage quits.
Rescue the universe. Yeah, yeah. A little too big.
Okay, we're live. We have today in Mendham or Gary.
This guy's a fucktard. I debated him, sort of. He literally did not have a proposition. Like, the guy is an actual idiot.
Steve and James. Steve and James on the Cosmic Extinction Movement or Pro-Extinction Movement. And in Mendham, who has his own YouTube channel for Ethylism.
Which is pro-extinction, and on the solar system scale, on a more limited scale rather than cosmic or universal. I don't think we can reach the rest of the universe. But go ahead.
Yeah, so the thing is, even we are not like cosmic extinctionists per se. It's just a name we use. But what we advocate for is extinction as vast as possible and as thorough as possible. That's it. We will be very arrogant if we claim, just from this point in time, we will be very arrogant if we claim like there is a technology that's going to save the entire universe. It'll be very arrogant, and that's not what we say. Like, it's a practically grounded ideology, and we just advocate for as much as optimal as possible, extinction as optimal as possible.
Yeah, we left out the word as graceful, as merciful, as benign to the feeling organisms, all of that stuff. So that's the tricky part. Yeah, I mean, extinction's easy. But how you render things non-existent is very important. I mean, how I die is a lot more important than if I die, right? We know the if doesn't exist.
I think like that is also like a priority. So what I usually say is like as vast as possible and as thorough as possible. But as painless as possible also. But the thing is, as vast as possible and as thorough as possible holds priority over as painless as possible. Because we should be very thorough that life doesn't come back or start somewhere else. We should be like very sure that we reach the maximum amount of life possible. So that
ending something better than we all just got blown up. That's not good enough for most people. You can't sell that. All right. Not that I wouldn't accept it. I'd accept being hung on a cross for 1,000,000 years to get the job done. If it would get the job done, I would accept being tortured. All right. If that's the contract. And so it's not about what I feel or what I think. It's about what you can convince other people to think.
Okay. But the thing is that like convincing other people is not I mean, you can't, you'll literally not be able to convince everybody.
What's your strategy exactly? What's your political strategy? You have to have a strategy. All right,
What's
you
your
can't get anywhere saying you 10 people are going to decide for the.
This is bizarre that Gary's talking about political strategy when Eflism has no fucking hope in hell politically. None whatsoever.
For the world, that it doesn't exist anymore. Guess what? You can't do that, right? There's been assholes who have tried to do that. It is not about you fixing the problem. It is about the human race fixing the.
It's kind of weird how he just suddenly went into a rage.
If you push the red button, then you are deciding for other people, right?
Yes, you have to decide as a democracy, as a majority, as at least a legitimate freedom-fighting organization. You have to, if it's a war, you have to have a legitimate war. All right, you can't behave like frickin' terrorists.
But just because there's 51% of support for
okay, all right, I didn't know you
anything doesn't make
I
it
don't
right.
know why you
didn't know
keep
you were
trying.
terrorists, all right?
I don't know why you keep trying. Do you ever get anything? No.
I've had enough of terrorists. I've had enough of people who think they have a right, okay, to sit there and decide for other people and blow up shit and kill kids and do all kinds of wacky other shit for the cause. If that's what
So it's
you're
okay
about,
if there's 51% agreement, but not if there's 49%.
it's a practical, pragmatic obligation. What do you think wars happen by? Do you think
that's
they just
literally
happen? They have to be
that's-
decided by a majority, you jerk.
the people who sit and decide that kids should be raped, they should be horribly, they should horribly die. That's pro-lifers.
I didn't know you were radicalized jihadists. Okay, I have no interest in talking to Muslims, little cell groups who want to destroy something or do something. If you don't understand your.
Oh, maybe he is like super sensitive at this point because there's at least two people who've had a connection to him and the Eflism thing. With the last guy having a clear, obvious connection to Gary. So, yeah, there's the mass shooter Adam Lanza, who may have spoken directly to Gary. And there's the recent guy who I think shot up or blew up that IVF clinic or something. So maybe that's why he's super sensitive about this topic right now.
Pragmatic obligation to convince the existing human beings that they have to apply this mercy, then I really don't want to have this conversation. I have been slandered enough times by the actions of radical people. I have no interest in fanatics and radicals.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So we are like jihadis, right? We want to kill people for Islam.
No, yeah, you want to do exactly the same.
Yeah.
You think you,
exactly
as an infinitesimally tiny majority, are going to decide for the entire planet. Yes, that is the definition of a terrorist.
So even abolitionists decided for the entire white supremacists that they should stop using slaves. They are also jihadis.
Civil fucking war
Jihadis.
decided to jackass.
Jihadis.
Millions of people
Went to war.
The majority of whites were against slavery. It was only like slave owners in the South that were pro-slavery. They had a way smaller population in the southern states.
Oh, you jackass.
Went to war. Killed a lot of people. Literally, you know what war involves. You can fuck off.
Well, I know for a fact this guy's a retard because I debated him. This guy's dumb as shit. Like, sack of marbles, stupid, you know?
On top of that, people like Frank who use the freedom of speech card don't really be alive in it themselves.
Yeah, I mean, usually it's pretty rare when people invoke freedom of speech that they actually care about freedom of speech. They just invoke it because they think it'll allow them to say whatever the fuck they want. Thanks for the donation, though, Dodo. I'm just going to put my bowl away so the cat stops harassing me, and I'm going to take a piss. But I'll be right back. Fucking God. Fucking bitch.
So Gary has concussion to mass shooters and terrorists. How can anyone take this clone seriously?
I don't know, man. The people in his community are absolutely fucked. There's actually a number of people from the Eflism Gary community that have talked about planning mass shootings, and they were talked out of it. Thanks for the donation, though, Dodo.
Me asking me for doing a review. Greg Doucette about to make 30 videos on this. Let's get started.
Unless you're a tiny woman, 400, 500, 600 milligrams are the doses that actually really move the needle when it comes to acute performance enhancement.
That's wrong. They're saying 3 to 6 milligrams, which for me is perhaps 250 to 500 milligrams of caffeine pre-workout, is what most studies are studying as in an effective dose. It's 1 to 3. Yes, there are studies that have gone as high as 6 milligrams and saying that they're even more beneficial. But for most people, you don't need to use a ridiculously high dose of caffeine in order to feel it or to get some benefits from it. Just because somebody quotes science, it doesn't actually mean that it's true. And trust me, depending on how dependent on caffeine you are, or if you don't drink caffeine at all, even 1 milligram per kilogram, which for me would be 88 kilograms, it's actually a lot. I know I was talking to brother editor Steve last night, and he says he can only take a quarter scoop of my pre-workout. He doesn't consume caffeine most of the time, and so for him, if he were to consume 3 milligrams per kilogram, he wouldn't feel normal. Perhaps would negatively affect his sleep, could get anxiety. You don't want to overdo it, and so be careful with what you wish for.
They had...
Son Goku, don't need to learn. I love education, hate school. Would you say this is logically consistent? Well, yeah, because school's gay. And you can become educated through many different means. You don't have to go to school. So it is logically consistent. Thanks for the donation, Son Goku.
Threshold concentrations that they would deem inappropriately high, perhaps for safety, perhaps because I thought it was an
Wow, so Gary is vastly inciting violence. Why hasn't YouTube taken down his channel yet?
Well, he is not inciting violence. It's just the community of people, you know, in the who are attracted to Effilism are just fucking unhinged. Thanks for the donation, though, Dodo.
Fair advantage.
Correct. This no longer exists. Caffeine was banned back in the day, started in 1984, and once WADA came to fruition, once it began to exist, they continued to have caffeine above a certain threshold that it was actually causing you to fail a drug test. And so back in 1984 up till 2004, if you used caffeine in too high of a dose, you are a drug cheat. Now, how many of you people think that if you double dose the pre-workout, that you're not natural anymore? I think most people would say that you can have as much caffeine as you want, and it really doesn't matter. But back in the day, they would drug test you, and if you had too much caffeine, you literally would fail the drug.
The TRT clinic, turns out they don't do monthly subscriptions. They do $200 for every 4 months to get testosterone in bulk, so it would technically be $50 a month. What do you think? That's fairly reasonable. That's not too bad. So, yeah, it's tolerable. Yeah, $50 a month isn't bad.
Drug test. I've seen this happen before. Imagine failing a drug test for taking caffeine in a bodybuilding competition.
You can get performance enhancement as low as, I think some people it was like 1 milligram per kilogram. It depends on the person and tolerance, of course.
Exactly. An efficacious dose is not 5 to 600 milligrams. That is ridiculous. In my humble opinion, which isn't humble at all, that is a ridiculously high dose. I do not recommend anyone consuming that much caffeine in a single dose. And so, for example, if you triple dose the Blue Lobster caffeine, triple dosed, that's 3 scoops. I consume 2, and that is a lot. There would be 450 milligrams of caffeine. I consume 300. That's just over 3 milligrams per kilogram of body weight. And for me, that is a lot. And so anyone that's taken 4 scoops of Blue Lobster, well, you're getting Blue Lobstered.
But
I think the most caffeine I've had recently was 720 milligrams and felt fine.
In general, the most tried and true studies when it comes to repeatable high impact was like 3 to 6 milligrams a kilogram.
No, Derek, that is not true. Derek is saying that the studies, all the science-based lifters out there, they read all the studies and they quote it and they think that this is gospel. No, repeatable high impact as in that's the dose that actually works with hardly any side effects. It's not 3 to 6 milligrams. Trust me, you don't have to take 3, 4, or 5 scoops of Blue Lobster in order to get a sustainable benefit. And in fact, I would argue most people at that dose are going to have terrible sleep. You're going to feel anxious. You're not going to feel normal. And the more often that you do that, the more you're going to need to consume. Remember, your body gets used to caffeine. I remember back when I did a 1-month detox. After the month was off and I consumed half of a scoop of pre-workout, I literally felt like I was high, felt like I was visiting my friend Molly. Be careful. Don't overdo caffeine. Use in moderation.
Sprinters will take, modafinil or high-dose caffeine, or powerlifters will take, massive doses of, pre-workout before a lift.
Of course, pre-workout with caffeine, we all know it's effective for both strength, cardio, endurance, waking you up, making you feel better, and releasing dopamine. Why do you think everyone loves caffeine so much? The reason is because caffeine is a drug. It's a drug that we have legalized. And so there are other drugs out there. Derek mentions modafinil. I was also prescribed this for having narcolepsy. This is a difficulty time in staying awake and fall asleep like that. But now that I'm using Turk Platinum, I no longer need to use it. Now, you can...
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, Turk Platinum cures narcolepsy. Sure it does.
You can believe me, you cannot believe me, but it kept me awake. Especially when I first took Turk Max, it was too strong for me. I couldn't sleep for more than 5 hours at night. I was always awake, and so I had to stop using it.
Link donated $2. Let me see. Why are you sending me? Like, I don't care. Is this the same bitch? Like, yeah, I get it. She's stupid. Like, it's just a waste of time. I don't give a shit. Thanks for the donation, Blink.
Literally is that strong. Now, when I switched over to Turk Platinum, I get more benefit.
Like, yeah, dude, after the 20th time, like, I get it. She is a rage-baiting idiot. She promotes anti-Semitic conspiracy theories. She's fucktard. I get it. Why would I bother reacting to that crap? Just fucking stupid.
And I'm able to sleep normally. My dreams have began to become normal. And of course, it does more than just keep you awake. It gives you more energy. You can train harder, build more muscle. Remember, I'm 50 and have more muscle than at 45. And what was the difference?
Dude. He has more muscle than at 45. And he's 50. So, let's see. If we go back 5 years, so should be around this time.
then you are.
If anything, he looks more muscular here. Like, if anything, he might look slightly more muscular here. Like, he's just so full of shit.
And what was the difference? Added in the Turk. And also, I only train 2 days a week in the weight room instead of 6 or 7. And I ride bikes 6 or 7 days a week. And so I train less and do more cardio and have more muscle. But it couldn't be that now, could it? And remember, there's a...
He is so fucking full of shit, dude. Just so out of this world, full of shit. Show me the motherfuckers making any gains on Turk. Show me one. Like, it's just so fucking retarded. Like, you know, the question was answered when SARMs came out. You know, we saw these stupid fucking teenage kids have these SARM transformations or add like 100 pounds to their bench in a month. SARMs clearly worked. Like, the question was answered pretty much right when they came out on the market, and enough people used them and reported, you know, the results they got. How long has Turk been on the market for now? Like a few years, and nobody has made any gains. No one looks any bigger, no one's gotten stronger, no one's gotten any fucking benefit from it. All these fucktards who are using Turk, they're literally the exact same. No difference. Like, it's so fucking retarded.
money back guarantee. And I
He
read a
does not have a money back guarantee. It's just bullshit.
comment. Someone was saying it wasn't. I think I'm lying. I'm making shit up. There's no money back guarantee. And so to prove it, buy it, ask for the money back. And if you don't get your money back.
So there's no real money back guarantee. He sells that Turk Platinum bullshit in a supply that will only last you about like 10 to 15 days. So if you're smart, you'd obviously buy 3 packs, right? So that it'll at least last you the full month. He'll only give you a refund for 1 single pack of Turk. So he puts the packaging in a way where you're incentivized to buy 3 packages, but then he'll only give you a refund for 1 fucking package. He's not offering a real refund. And the refund is only available in the United States. And you have to pay for return shipping. So, like, it's just fucking retarded. He doesn't have a real money-back guarantee.
Reminder: this information is all coming from the very man who scams young teens into buying his drugs.
You mean Greg? With Turk? Technically, Turk isn't a drug, since it doesn't do anything. It's basically like eating dirt. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
Make a video saying that you didn't. Not only was there a $20 gift card, I've in fact increased it to $50. And so there's a money back guarantee and on top of that, a $50 gift card. And so now is the time to try it. Code Greg, 15% off.
You know, the highest impact dose in caffeine literature is, 3 to 6 milligrams a kilogram. It's not like I imagine Chris is like blindly recommending anybody start there.
Exactly. And so Derek has thought it over and he's now correcting himself. He's saying, actually, based on what I said, I'm saying things that I don't want to misconstrue. And so you can get performance enhancement at 1 milligram. And he recommends starting at the lowest dose that makes you happy, which is exactly what I suggest. After you listen to Derek, you would have probably thought I need 3 milligrams to 6 milligrams per kilogram of body weight, which is overdose on caffeine.
And especially in like trained athletes where you're trying to see how hard you can push them.
And so I certainly hope that anyone who's willing to risk their health by taking that much caffeine would take something that makes more sense. If you're
Yes, something that has no research supporting its efficacy, and that is more expensive than most anabolic steroids. Like, it's just out of this world fucking retarded, dude. His Turk Builder supplement is actually comparable in price to Anavar. So what is it? It's $115 for 50 20 milligram Anavar tablets through my steroid dealer, which is an online source. Greg's Turk Builder, it's like what, $55 or something for like about a 15-day supply. So I think his Turk Builder is actually more expensive than Anavar. Where's his supplements? There's Turk Builder Max, and then there's Turk Builder Platinum. 40 capsules, but I think he recommends up to like 3 capsules per day. Yeah, there's Turk Builder Platinum. Oh, this is even worse. Oh, wow. This is way worse than I ever could have imagined. So, serving size is 1 capsule, 40 servings per container. Yeah, this is actually more expensive than oxandrolone, Anavar. So I can get Anavar $115 for 50 20 milligram tablets. He's selling 40 turkesterone tablets for $100. So this is more expensive than Anavar. Like you can literally buy steroids that you know fucking work. Or you could get this, which has absolutely no research, no efficacy behind it whatsoever. Like this is for retards. This is for dumbasses who like are like believe the bullshit, like, oh, steroids will make you die. Like if you do steroids even once, you're dead. And what else? Like they're just a faggot who... This is for faggots who are afraid of needles, pussies who are like, oh, but steroids is drugs, you know, like... Yeah, that's what this is for. Just fucking retards.
Abusing caffeine to that extent, you can't sleep, you're trying to maximize your performance, and you're not taking Turk Builder Max or Turk Platinum, well, what is wrong with you? It makes no sense. Code Greg, 15% off.
And same with the creatine. You know, you might shit yourself if you go to 20 right away. Like you don't want to start there.
A lot of people do, apparently.
And so speaking...
Great news, VG. The police in Berlin are cracking down on those pro-Palestine protests.
Restricted video. Can't watch that. Thanks for the donation, Dodo. His bullshit claims aside, Greg is still jacked and more impressive to me. He stays lean as fuck. Yeah. So here's me not taking turkesterone. But, you know, whatever. You're an idiot.
Speaking of creatine, I typically take 7 or 8 grams a day. I get the rounded, massive scoop. And it's really as simple as that. And people say it's too much work. I need to take creatine gummies because it's more efficient, it's easier. Yeah. The problem is it's excessively difficult to get the creatine to remain as creatine once you put it in gummy form. I tried. I was attempting to create creatine gummies, but it wasn't effective. And so when our company tested it, third party tested to ensure that it was proper and meeting label claims and so on, it wasn't. And so notice we don't sell a creatine gummy. And as you know, I love making money. I love selling things that people will want. Why do you think I'm not selling a creatine gummy? And so does that not make...
Well, he learned his lesson with the whole fake turkesterone thing. He doesn't want that to happen again, so...
Make you think...
Like, by the way, this has nothing to do with him being, some, upstanding person who... cares about the highest quality, everything, and wants to provide the best service. He's only doing this because he knows it's good for business. So, he knows he can't get away with selling bullshit, so,
Perhaps you think I'm a snake oil salesman. Oh, Coach Greg's selling snake oil. If this is true, why am I not making what I know would be a bestseller? We've seen videos, people exposing the creatine gummies. And so if you're buying creatine gummies, almost certainly you're being scammed. And so please be careful. Suggest you buy creatine in powder form. And so although we hardly make any money and hardly anyone buys my creatine, I suggest that you don't get ripped off.
I have Signal, but I'm not giving out my Signal thing. You can just message me on Instagram if you need something.
In buying fake creatine gummies. Not sure if the one that you have right now is real, but it probably isn't, since based on what I've seen from the studies, people testing it and so on, unfortunately the creatine degrades and it isn't actually real. And so if you want to benefit from creatine, both physically, creatine monohydrate in powder form, and you don't have to get it from me, get it from whoever.
Are you still doing the million gummies a day?
Of what?
Of creatine.
No.
You said you were going to crank that shit up to get to 20 grand.
Great news. VG. The police in Berlin are cracking down on these pro-Palestine protesters.
Violently crack down on peaceful Gaza solidarity protests, assaulting an elderly man with shocking aggression. There's clearly a reason why they did this, like they're resisting, so... So you'll notice they're all elderly, right? Like, they're geriatric as fuck. So these are people getting paid to do this. Like, I don't know by who. Could be a Chinese billionaire, could be a Qatari fucking terrorist. But that's why you see so many elderly people at these protests. They don't know what the fuck's going on. They just get paid to do this. You know, I wish the police could just beat the fuck out of these people. You know. Sometimes police brutality is justified. They should just get nightsticked up the ass. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
I stopped with the gummies and I went to powdered form.
Did he stop because he was tired of eating gummies? I mean, delicious, yummy gummies. I mean, I
love gummies.
Personally consume the biotin gummies from Costco just because they taste so good. Do I really care about biotin? Like, I'm just eating them because they're gummies, and because there's vitamins in it, it prevents me from eating the whole thing because, you know, gummies, they're friggin' delicious. I'm not going to buy Jerry Bellies and Juju Bells and Bees and whatever they're called. And so I have the gummies with vitamins in them because it slows me down. I don't dare eat too many. And so it allows you to have some control. And so Joe Rogan, last I did a video on this guy talking with Derek, he was consuming about 15 gummies a day. And
yes, I'm planning on competing in bodybuilding.
Derek was like, did you know that it's probably not actually creatine that's in there? Many people being scammed. And unfortunately, another from HDLT supplements. You're almost certainly being scammed. I know that you don't want to hear it. I know that you want to think that I'm the scammer, but go and look on Derek's Gorilla Mind website and go and try to buy Turkplex. Notice how you can't. Why do you think that is? Remember when I said that everyone else that was tested, aside from HDLT supplements, that they had most likely had cyanosis and that we had Ajuga trichostatica? You didn't believe me. You thought, no, Coach Greg is a steak oil salesman. We've been vindicated. It's been proven. And I've called everyone out.
I've literally eaten entire containers of vitamin gummies. Like, I just didn't fucking care. They tasted good, so I ate them. Dodo, I need $2. Let me see.
Now, Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy and the physician helping him roll out the plan, nutritionist specialist Dr. Paul Saladino, was doing pull-ups yesterday as well. First off, Ms. Secretary, great to see both you guys. Why do you think this is important to make airports more family-friendly?
Well, we want the flying experience to be great, Brian, and so what we've done, job number one, is building a brand new
Why in the fuck is Paul Saladino here?
air traffic control system, making sure it's more efficient, safer. President Trump and I are working on that. By the way, just a quick note, Brian, we hired a project. Any ideas that airports have?
2 micro workouts, right?
Micro workouts are incredible. You know that airports are probably one of the most sedentary places that we are as Americans. Unfortunately, you're sitting there for an hour or two waiting for your flight. Maybe there's delay. You're sitting on a flight for 2 or 3 hours. You're in an Uber to and from the airport. So it's scary. So I love this idea. I'm really
Yeah, I have a feeling workout areas in airports are not really gonna move the needle in terms of health outcomes. Fucking stupid. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
Agreed VG. I wish they would have beaten that worthless old man till he was blind in one eye.
Yeah. Well, same with the other fuckers there, too. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
Gummies.
I can just mix creatine in a glass of water, stir it up real quick, and just chug it in 5 seconds, and we're done.
I mean, you saw me do it. How long did it take? I would say 5 seconds is an underestimation. I would say it's going to take 15.
I mean, going back to the 20 grams and the offsetting of, performance deteriorations, I do think it's basically offsetting kind of the deficiencies.
And so Derek mentions she's drinking 20 grams of creatine a day, spreading it out through the day, because if you consume it all at once, it has negative side effects to stomach and so on. It's odd that he still doesn't believe in beta-alanine, despite all the research, the fact that it 100% works. And
I can't stand Greg. So dumb. So very stupid.
You're like twice as big.
And so the physique reveal, he's stripping his shirt off at the gym, and I can say I'm extremely impressed. I did not know that he was going to be this shredded and have this much size. He's going to explain how. If you want to go and watch the entirety of the video, be sure to go and check him out. And of course, use code ANOMALY in order to big IFBB Pro. Without even having watched the video, I'm going to assume the answer is steroids. Or better yet, lots of steroids. You're not?
Yeah, you're not gonna grow that much muscle with tercasterone, are you, dipshit?
Putting on 25 pounds of muscle in 3 months while you're 100% natural, it just isn't happening. Prior to this, Sven was on performance-enhancing drugs, and remember, he's very open, honest, and transparent about it. He ended up with gynecomastia.
Yeah, it looks like he was doing nandrolone.
Explained all of the dangerous things it can do, the side effects, and so he's one of the good guys that you should follow. He couldn't train as hard, and he lowered his doses to just simply doing HRT. And so during that time, he lost some of the muscles that he once had, which means he had muscle memory. Once you've had a certain amount of muscle, it's easier to get it the second time around.
And as you guys know, I like having dextrose while I work out. It helps me keep a pump, but I don't have dextrose, so I bought
this giant bag of sugar.
The first thing he describes is that he consumes a lot of sugar, and he says sugar is good for you when used appropriately. And so here's the thing. Sugar has been demonized. People saying it's bad. If you consume sugar, well, you're going to get cancer, you're going to die, you're going to be obese, and this is simply not true. Sugar is only bad for people that don't work out and don't exercise. If you're obese, and if you're a cow.
Well, you don't want to just eat straight sugar, ideally. The antioxidants and shit that's in, like, you know, fruit, it helps offset some of the, like, inflammatory effects that just pure sugar has. So, it's still not ideal. Like, it's not as bad if you're actually exercising, but it's still not ideal. Dodo Tellers, did you react to Frank's latest videos? Also, I don't like how Paul Saladino is showing up in the government so much. Yeah, it's fucking weird. I don't know what the fuck's going on there. But yeah, we already reacted to Frank's latest videos. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
Couch potato, a lazy piece of shit, then you don't consume sugar because you're going to consume calories, and it gives him a better pump. He's burning a lot of calories. He's eating. Would be analogous to, for example, buying alcohol-free beer and then accurately. And so oftentimes the scoop inside the container, it's too small, it's too big. And so please measure accurately.
You're gonna get big today.
You yes, me no.
You know, why not?
Would you like it if I was big, a big torta?
No.
And remember, in order to be hot as a female, all you have to do is not be fat. If you're simply a normal ass chick, I'm talking about.
Yeah, I mean, for most dudes, that's basically it. You know, it's kind of funny how, like, people talk about women's beauty standards being unrealistic. Like, literally, all they have to do is just not be fat. Just. They don't have to work out. They don't have to have big muscles. They don't have to be super lean. They just have to not be fat. And then that's what most people consider, like, an ideal, you know, female figure. And then there's all this horse shit. Women's fucking body image standards are out of control and stupid. Like, yeah, right. Like, even the most minimal amount of effort, women fucking still complain. But, yeah. The amount of, like, dudes in Hollywood who are playing superheroes that have to take, like, fucking steroids and shit is just out of control. You got fucking Wolverine, Thor, fucking Batman, all these dudes on steroids. And the amount of men who are on steroids now is just through the fucking roof. But yeah, women's body image standards are ridiculous, sure.
30% body fat or less, you're automatically at least a 5. You could ask, for example, clavicular. I'm sure he will agree.
That's why I look smacks.
Being fat makes you less attractive, and so if you lose weight, you're going to get hotter than last time. Going to the gym, working out, putting the fork down, eating less. And listen, if you're struggling with the food, noise, whatever you want to call it, you can go to Algo RX. They sell the GLPs. You've heard of these things. You've probably heard of things like.
Yes, buy GLP-1 agonists for a massively inflated cost. Fucking idiot.
Testosterone and clomiphene. Code Greg, 10% off.
I don't know why he keeps mentioning enclomiphene. It has to be a thing with that he's getting paid to do.
Head over to Algo RX.
First exercise, buddy's got a crazy bump.
And next, in order to put on 25 pounds of muscle, you need to use a lot of tests and probably a lot of tren, hence meeting up with the Tren twins at the gym to get in a workout. You need to train harder than last time. You don't need to do all the science-based bullshit. You don't have to ask Jeff Nippa, the science-based lifter who won't take your picture. You don't need to talk to him. That glitcher won't take a picture. Whatever he's going to say, depends on the science. Every year it's something different. What you need to do is to be consistent. You go to the gym and you train hard and you do that repeatedly, and eventually you're going to put on some size. And so they go to the gym and they train hard. And that I like to see.
How do you feel?
Jet lag.
Me too. I can barely walk. I'm so tired.
I want to sleep.
And so notice, he's at the gym, jet lagged, lacking sleep, but he's still getting in a workout. Amazing physique. You really have to want it.
You saw him before with gyno or?
Yeah. No gyno.
Now you're even more attracted to him, I guess, then.
And so the physique reveal, he's stripping his shirt off at the gym, and I can say I'm extremely impressed. I did not know that he was going to be this shredded and have this much size. He looked like he should get ready for a show and do it now. Bro looks ridiculous, and what's really impressive about Sven is he has barn door wide shoulders and a very small waist. And because of that, all of the
I don't know if you could say it has a small waist.
added size, it's in all of the right places. I mean, look at genetic anomaly mogging both of the Trend twins. The Trend twins are massive. Now, not in stature, they're 5'6" manlets like Coach Greg, but they have a tremendous amount of size. And Sven, he makes them look small, and that's saying something. Look at the size of the chest, the fullness, the arms, the delts, the striations, the vascularity. Bro has a six-pack.
Also, these same women bitch about women being objectified in media, but at the same time literally drool over naked muscular buff dudes in these superhero movies.
Yeah, it's only okay when they do it, you know. So, double standards and no accountability. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
And he's not even getting ready for competition.
You're like twice as big. I'm the biggest and more.
And that is the exact phrase I keep hearing the first time I got with Mepstagram. Couldn't believe it. She couldn't believe it was so small, but that's in comparison to the rest of the body. Yeah, boy. Competitive bodybuilder right now, literally a super heavyweight in the making. I mean, find a girl that looks at Sven the way his girlfriend looks at him. She is absolutely geneticking her anomaly right now.
Doing the phase where I wasn't
I have a feeling she's not into it.
training as much. I was focusing mainly
Yeah, I have a feeling she's more just attracted to him as a person than the way he looks.
on like my form and stuff. I was just focusing on the connection.
So if you get injured, if you get sick, it doesn't mean you take time off from the gym. That's loser talk. You go to the gym and you do your best. The audacity of this woman. She lies about everything. All her posts are lies to clickbait people into looking at it, and then she gets mad at them if they think that she's actually taking the drugs that she says she's taking. Little town in the middle of nowhere to the Hollywood Hills. Gearheads, gamblers, and degens. All right, and so we can see here we've got photos of Togi, and so she's hanging out with Togi. And in case you have never known this, Togi, he promotes and uses steroids, and so you never know who it's going to affect. You might think it's innocent and that no one's going to follow in your footsteps, but we now even have teenage women doing the same thing. One thing you better not do is do anything with her raw, or you're getting the R. Rar. Don't go raw on this woman. You know that with chlamydia. Is this where Togi got chlamydia? Togi! That sound like Togi, so thanks. I quit dating white monsters and started drinking them instead. This is her channel. This is pounds. I've been consistently
I wonder if this is shit posting or if she's just retarded.
in the gym for 3 years before making the decision to begin a cycle. Wow, you know, she's been in the gym for 3 years. She started training at 16. She's now 19. And so, oh my goodness. I mean, I waited. I put in the work. You know, I've been grinding for years. I don't know what happened, but in 2025, people seem to think that they've been through life, they've done the whole thing, that they've experienced everything, but they've barely had time to work out. Like training from 16 to 19, I started training at 10, and I can't imagine already starting steroids at only 19. And I started when I was 10. She started at 16. She's a woman. She's 19 years of age. And if you look at her physique at 108 pounds, all I see is a girl that's not eating enough. I mean, let's watch this again.
Steroids are amazing, and here's how I know.
Steroids are amazing, and here's how I know. Why? By showing a photo of yourself when you're overly lean. I mean, look at the condition of her legs. Women aren't meant to have legs that look like that unless they're on a very serious diet. These are not normal looking quads. And so frankly, she has a way above average looking physique. Her starting point after only training for a couple of years is way above average. However, I do think she's probably underfed. She looks very lean. And so she says steroids are amazing. Why? Did they convince her to eat? Did the steroids make her have a burger to be in a...
Steroids can increase your appetite, so especially Bullnone. Bullnone's really well known for increasing appetite, but yeah, steroids in general can increase your appetite.
Calorie surplus? Because when I look at the before and after, I don't see a girl that put on a shit ton of muscle. I see a girl that ate and gained some fat. Of course, some muscle went with that.
I think I weighed like 108 pounds here. This is my most recent, physique.
And so she put on 50 pounds. 50, not 15, but 50. Did she need to gain 50 pounds? I don't think so. Clearly, it wasn't 50 pounds of muscle. A lot of this was fat. And, of course, the steroids did, in fact, help her. But eating in a surplus would have helped her. Turk Builder Max would have helped her.
Let's see. You could either buy bullshit that doesn't work, or you could spend less money on steroids that actually work. Gee, I wonder, what would be the smarter decision? What a fucktard. Like, what an actual fucking idiot, dude.
There's a whole bunch of natural things she could have done that would have helped her. I would say eating.
Why is turkesterone natural, but steroids are unnatural? Like, so a weird, rare plant extract that only grows in one small region in the world that somehow Greg basically has control over the fucking whole supply chain. No one else is selling turkesterone. He's the only one with the actual fucking plant extract. Why would that be considered natural but steroids aren't? Like, it's just fucking stupid. The whole, the whole natural thing, it's pretty arbitrary when you get down to it.
Eating the main one.
A lot of people tell me, oh, well, you could have had the same physique, naturally.
No, she couldn't have had the same physique naturally. Just because a physique is attainable naturally doesn't mean that she could have done it naturally. Her first cycle was 5 milligrams of Anavar for 8 weeks, and her second cycle was 10 milligrams of Anavar for 8 weeks. You really think she could just not take Anavar and get the exact same amount of gains by being natural versus enhanced? Of course not. Now, is it possible that eventually she could have gotten that physique, perhaps 5 years later? Yes. But she wanted it right now.
Sure, I could have. However, I didn't want to wait the amount of time it would have taken. And also, I just wanted a fat ass. Okay, so you don't need steroids, you don't need turk, you need food. To get a fat ass time frame.
What's her Instagram handle?
Same time frame.
First cycle, 5 milligrams Anavar, 8 weeks on, 20 weeks off. 10 milligrams Anavar, 1 IU, HGH, Clen. That's fairly sensible. You'd really want to run HGH continuously, though, for very long periods. She probably can't afford it, though. Oh, wait. This is her Insta. Does she have a fat ass? It appears so. Yeah, I like her butt. It's a nice lizard. Yeah, it's got a good butt. Yeah, I don't know what she'd look like if she leaned down, because, like, you know, chicks like lean beef patty look more jacked, but lean beef patty's also pretty damn lean. I don't know if she'd look a lot more muscular if she got leaner. She kind of just looks like a chick who lifts. I wouldn't suspect that she's on Anavar or growth hormone or anything.
See, I don't understand why people are all using Clen. All you have to do is not eat the burgers in the first place, and you don't need the Clen to burn that fat off. It makes way more sense to use GLP Max than Clen. Clen is bad for your heart. It's bad for your health. It's not.
It works. So I think it's also misleading to say it's bad for your heart. Kind of depends, but yeah, clenbuterol works. Your stupid supplement doesn't.
And spec king of woman with no accountability VG.
Let me see.
Erica, one of the most alarming things about Charlie's murder was the way that some people in this country reacted to it.
Yeah.
And not just online. This was an idea that you encountered.
Dude, this chick, could not give two fucking shits about her husband dying. If anything, she seems happy that Charlie's dead.
Encountered a lot. And the idea was this. They kind of justified it. They basically said that because Charlie said or believed things that they believed were controversial or even hateful.
This chick, like you can just see in her face, she doesn't fucking care.
That he somehow had
He married like a literal psychopath. Fucking weird.
coming. What do you say to people who justified his death?
You're sick. He's a human being.
Like, everything she does is an act, and she's so bad at acting, too. Like, she doesn't know how to control her face. She can't cry on demand, and she just tries to play this game, and she just fails miserably, but she does not care that her husband died. If anything, she's happy, because now she basically has all of his wealth. And she's just been going on this fucking media tour where she literally just acts. It's fucking stupid.
Daughter.
Oh,
And
there
laugh.
we go. Oh, she's actually crying now.
And the video
It's
of
not
my
just crocodile
husband being
tears.
murdered. And laugh. That
Oh, that's impressive. She actually was able to cry that time. Yeah, she was on some other fucking talk show where she was fake crying. That time she was actually able to cry. Weird. Maybe she's been practicing. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
Not something I would recommend. It doesn't make you feel good. It makes it harder to sleep. And so isn't the problem that you're hungry? Like the people that are gaining all this weight, isn't it that you're hungry and you can't curb your cravings? Well, if you take GLP Max, you'll be less hungry. It'll be easier to put the fork down. Code Greg, 15% off. Envious of how little doses women need, LOL. 5 and 10 milligrams in comparison to men, is a little dose, but for a woman, it is not. You may be thinking it's a
5 milligrams of Anavar is a pretty small dose.
very small dose, but remember this, it's 10 to 12 times stronger in a woman as compared to that of a man. So a woman taking 10 milligrams of Anavar could expect to put on the same amount of muscle as if you were taking 120 milligrams of Anavar.
No, not even close.
And so it is legit. And by the way, if you're a man...
Yeah, that's complete and utter nonsense.
Don't take 120 milligrams of Anavar. That's...
Yeah, most dudes seem to top out at around 30 to 40 milligrams of Anavar per day, where if they have any more, they don't really perceive a benefit. So, like, that's not even remotely true.
Actually, the smartest cycle for a girl I've seen a girl do. I would do 5 milligrams of Anavar instead and 5 IUs of GH.
5 IUs of growth hormone for a female is extremely high. Most women would probably only want about 2 to 3. Like tops.
Please don't read comments from morons in the...
Yeah, seriously.
Michelle from China just posted a new video on her OnlyFans of her getting railed anally by redacted. Tight little cute Asian girl buttoned hole. Man, you must be jealous of him, lol.
Don't care. Thanks for the donation.
Comment section and copy what they're saying. Oh, it's the smartest cycle I've ever seen a girl do. Really, 5 milligrams of Anavar for the first cycle. That's the smartest cycle I've ever seen. No one has ever done that. How about 2.5 milligrams of Anavar? Is that smarter? What about...
I don't think there's point in doing 2.5 milligrams, honestly.
5 milligrams of Ostrine. Is that smarter? What about doing Turk Builder Max? What about, I could list 1,000 things that's smarter. And your suggestion is to use 5 milligrams of Anavar and 5 IUs of growth hormone next? How on earth do you think
comments are fucking stupid. And, like, by the way, people who leave comments like this, 99% of the time, they've never taken a steroid in their fucking life. 5 IUs of growth hormone for female. That's what I'm on. Like, it's fucking retarded.
that's healthy? You want women to start injecting 5 IUs of growth plus 5 milligrams of Anavar daily as a cycle? What's wrong with you? Sorry, I missed your 20 calls, 15 texts, and voicemail of you begging for me back. I was busy smoking a joint at a mansion in West Hollywood. Oh, I hate men, you know, I hate dating white monsters. Now I drink the white monsters. I'm just smoking a joint in some training first. If you aren't gaining, you aren't eating enough. And her response, not for someone whose goal is an IFBB Pro card. I don't even know.
I doubt she's going to get an IFBB Pro card.
Nigga, how many girls do you have left in your audience now that none wib left? Is it just thief in thou? Girls really don't like you. Make a poll real quick and let's see. Also, do Asian girls not like black men? Seems they prefer white guys even older.
Generally speaking, Asian women are most attracted to white men. I have seen more Asians being into black dudes, though. That seems to be a trend that's kind of growing. And that's great. Thanks for the donation, 21st.
What to say to that. And so your goal is stupid. You just have a long-term goal that you know the only way you can get it is by abusing the shit out of performance-enhancing drugs. And for what? What is this pro card going to give you? Oh, my goal is a pro card. Yeah, I wanted to be a professional baseball player when I was 5, but I wasn't about to travel to Dominican, leave Canada, and play baseball my entire life. Some things just don't make sense. And the person's response, thank goodness a few people make sense here. I think anyone with a pro card would tell you to figure out training and diet first before jumping on any sort of PED. I like the response to say, but sure, whatever, man, because that's what...
The starts at 58 minutes whenever you get around to it.
Oh, so
Oh, sure. Okay. Thanks for the donation, Unicorn Jizz. Yeah, this is the vegan thing. Alright, we can take a look at that next. Thanks again, dude. Yeah, I mean, ideally you'd, learn how to train and everything, but that can take a very long time, and like, it's kind of a myth too, like, especially with women. Like, you can only tolerate so much drugs, right? So it's not like you have this infinite lever to pull where you can always infinitely make up for bad training and nutrition by just taking more drugs. Like, you can only tolerate so much drugs. And that's especially true for women. Like, they cannot take much steroids before getting side effects. So, especially for women, I think that's just a load of horse shit. So, yeah. The sooner you can take drugs and the longer you're on them, the more gains you make. So, it just makes sense.
That's what she's slowly doing. She's slowly going to turn into a man. I mean, the comments...
Dude, she did like 10 milligrams of Anavar for 8 weeks. Like, I think you're kind of a little overblown here, dude.
Pro on your bio. What are you going to then do? Let's see. She's probably a friggin' OF person. Olivia Martin Van... Gambling more often. And I mean, I'm sorry, like... She's showing herself injecting. How is this even allowed on Instagram?
I don't know what she's injecting.
Do this. And let's like just analyze the look of her physique. Does this look like she's a future IFBB pro? She's admittedly done 2 cycles VAR twice. Growth hormone, and these are the results. She's not lean. She doesn't seem to have a crazy amount of muscle. She looks normal. She doesn't look like she's blasting, like she has crazy genetics, like she's a future IFBB pro. And so why not just clean up your diet? Stop the permabulk, 2,800 calories. Why are you eating 2,800 calories? Grams as a female is insane. And her response...
She did not inject 500 milligrams of testosterone. You would get like immediate voice deepening, like you'd go through male puberty overnight.
It's called being facetious. I'm not actually running 500 milligrams of test as a female. I haven't pinned test a day in my life. Little bottle is HGH, big bottle is injectable L-carnitine.
Yeah, no shit.
How many people do you think read that versus how many people see the actual post?
What woman is going to inject 500 milligrams of test in one shot? Like, oh my god, that's so stupid.
Most people see the post and they keep going. Some people
That's
see
great.
the post and they write a comment, and then some people see the post, write a comment, and read your response to the comment to see what's actually going on.
Dude, Greg is just being a fucking Karen at this point.
And so when you say, I know that she's exaggerating, that it's probably L-carnitine, there's no way she's that. Like, let's be honest. Like, we're gonna have to pay to see this? Since when do I have to pay to see a 5?
Y'all will literally believe anything on the internet. And running 500 tests as a female is ridiculous and stupid, and I would never do that. But apparently y'all don't have brain cells and can't figure out the fact that I'm actually, what I was pinning in my shoulder is injectable L-carnitine. I have not actually touched test yet as a cycle.
Notice how she says yet? And so people are concerned. They're trying to help her out. They're like, look, you look very young. You probably made a mistake. 500 milligrams of test is too much. I don't know what coach you have or boyfriend, but we're trying to help you. And so a lot of men and women in the comments section trying to help this woman. And she just laughs at them. You couldn't figure it out that I was being facetious, that it was actually Anavar and L-carnitine.
I haven't even touched test yet. But in every third post, it says to abuse trend, to take trend, to do test, to take D-ball, that your life will get better if you use steroids. And she has an OF, but yet she hates men. Who do you think is paying for this OF bullshit that you're posting? Men. And so you hate the men who are paying to support you. Make it make sense. And so try to stay natural for as long as possible. 3 years is not enough time to have a base of training. Try to eat a proper diet, put the fork down, be healthy, do 150 minutes of cardio a week. And if you want to use supplements, consider HDLT supplements. We have the best supplement line in the world.
Sure you do. All right, let's watch the Destiny debate next. I just gotta take a piss. I'll be right back. All right.
I come up with this on the fly, as it were. So, in 2020, over the course of a few months, pork producers in Iowa Falls packed over 1 million pigs into barns. They then shut off the ventilation and pumped in 150-degree steam. Video shows pigs screaming, collapsing and writhing in pain for nearly 3 hours before the barn finally fell silent. Shortly after, a new batch of pigs were loaded in. This event was, by all plausible accounts, a holocaust. And yet few people know what happened, let alone that this kind of thing happens constantly. 80 billion land animals a year, that's 200 million every day, are raised on factory farms in some of the worst conditions imaginable. These facts make eating animal products, in my view, one of the worst things a person will do in their lives. My argument is very simple. First, I claim that it is deeply wrong to cause enormous amounts of pain, suffering, and death, even to animals, for comparatively trivial benefit. This is a modest claim. It doesn't require controversial views about animal rights or how much moral status animals have. It supports some of our most basic intuitions. For instance, most of us would agree that it would be seriously wrong to light a cat on fire for the sake of hearing its screams. My second claim is that in ordinary circumstances, when we buy or consume animal products, we cause massive amounts of suffering for trivial benefits. Consider some of the facts about factory farming as of 2025. Nearly all breeding pigs live in crates so small that they can't turn around. Piglets are castrated and mutilated without anesthetic. Many pigs arrive at slaughter with pneumonia. Transport alone kills hundreds of thousands. For broiler chickens, they're bred to grow so fast that most spend their lives in pain or are unable to walk. About 500,000 birds per year are boiled alive due to improper stunning methods in scalding tanks.
I'll look into Lunabar's gig.
Egg-laying hens live in cages smaller than a sheet of paper.
I think I've seen
Male
them.
chicks, about 7 billion a year, are killed on their first day of life because they're deemed unfit for the egg-laying hen industry. For years, scientific consensus has held that non-human animals experience pain and pleasure much like we do. As the 2012 Cambridge Declaration on Consciousness states, the weight of evidence indicates that humans are not unique in possessing the neurological substrates that generate consciousness. What makes torture morally bad is the intrinsic character of the experience, the way it feels from the inside, not the species or intelligence of the victim. A typical meat eater causes animals to spend about 132,000.
Gotis reacts to dog and cat videos. I know how much you like pet videos, so I thought you might want to watch for later.
Hi, today I'm gonna be looking at clips of dogs and cats being fed pet food all lifespans. Human laughs.
Yeah, boring. Thanks for the donation, nigga.
1,000 extra days, that's roughly 364 years, on factory farms. Causing 364 years of torture is presumptively wrong. So the question is, do we have a sufficiently good reason for doing this? For most of us, we clearly don't. Animal products taste great. I will be the first person to admit this. And they're probably better than plant-based products. But our gustatory pleasure is clearly a bad justification for justifying torturing sentient beings. Especially for someone like Destiny, with the platform that you have, the stakes are even higher. If you convince just 3% of your average viewers to go vegan, you could help spare roughly 210,000 animals from some of the worst misery ever experienced by sentient beings. So, my question
Richard
to
is an Israeli Nazi and that makes him unattractive to women.
you, Destiny, is why aren't you vegan yet?
Okay, I think that there are two huge problems with veganism that I think vegans hand wave away, and they just kind of assume are one is that the thing doesn't matter, and then the second is that we just kind of take it for granted. So the first thing that I will say is it's strange to speak about moral ways to treat any class of things that will never themselves be able to conduct themselves in moral ways. I don't think that that's a
Okay, so, like, we're back to it's okay to kill retards. Retards don't have moral agency, or not to an extent, you know, that's to the level of, you know, a normal human being. So I guess it's okay to torture and kill retards.
request that we would ever make of any group of people or any individual, that you would treat, you know, some person or something or some entity that can never develop morality or any kind of moral systems on their own. So in a world with humans, you know, we talk about farming a pig as being this deeply unethical thing, but if
This is just so bizarre. Animals don't have moral agency, therefore it's okay to be immoral towards them. If you're going to argue that humans have unique moral agency, then why don't you put it to use? Like it's so fucking retarded. Like, by the way, a lot of the animals we kill are extremely nice and peaceful. When's the last time you ever saw a fucking lamb fucking murder somebody? Never. Lambs are peaceful animals. They don't do anything. And people eat lamb. Chickens. When's the last time you've seen a vicious chicken attack? Probably never. Maybe they pecked somebody's like ankle or something or foot. But chickens just do chicken stuff. Cows. They don't really go around beating people up, do they? They just moo and eat grass. Like it's so weird to bring up something like, oh, they lack moral agency, when they literally do nothing to you or anybody. They're fucking herbivores.
Never mind VG, I think when you talk to Doucette tomorrow you need to clearly bring up his stupid anti-vegan arguments and destroy him on that again.
What's the point? Like, he's just a dishonest fuck. There's literally no point. Like, what's bizarre too is, like, he's claiming, oh, cows lack moral agency, therefore it's okay to torture and murder billions of fucking cows. How many, how many human atrocities have there been where you see mass amounts of people that are captured by ideology and they go around and committing mass murder and genocide? Like to this day, you see this happening. Like, look at what's happening right now in Sudan. Like, the amount of Muslims in the fucking world that are pro-genocide and want to exterminate entire races or creeds or groups of religions, or people who are part of different religious groups. Like, who, like, what group is more deserving of, like, murder? Humans who cheat, lie, rape, steal, murder, or cows that moo and eat grass? Like, if you just tally up the total amount of harm that humans do versus what cows do, what group is more deserving of that? Like, it's, like, again, it's just so fucking retarded.
If you remove the human aspect from it, you put the pig in the wild and some tiger. I don't think pigs and tigers live together, but whatever fucking animal eats pigs, right? If this thing were to encounter the pig and eat it from the nuts up or whatever, because based on the videos I've seen on YouTube, it's a real crazy way that they hunt, that somehow that situation is like a morally preferable one to factory farming. The reality...
I don't even understand what point he's making here. This, if we didn't do factory farming, that doesn't mean those same animals are going to be hunted down and murdered in the wild. They just wouldn't exist. So, like, he's literally not even making a point here.
The reality is that...
This is like me saying, oh, well, the Holocaust wasn't that bad because if the Jews were in the wild, they would have gotten, like, ripped to shreds by a lion or something. Like that's not the counterfactual that would fucking happen if the Holocaust didn't happen.
Given a world where humans don't exist, where factory farming doesn't exist, all of the same type of animal suffering basically exists, you know, completely unstopped and unchecked by any animal, because nobody would even develop any moral system from these creatures until humans evolve that would ever check any of it. And so I don't know why there is a morally preferable world where animals exist that hunt other animals to the one that exists right now where humans factory farm animals, unless we just say animals themselves never develop the mind to have the agency to have any kind of moral culpability for any of the actions that they take. I'm not aware of any vegans saying that we should.
I don't even know what he means by this. Like, animals do clearly have some degree of moral agency. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to have any sort of pro-social behavior. Dodo $22. At least the point would be to point it out to his audience. So, yes, you should do it at least briefly. Mop the floor with him. I guess I'll try. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
Can you explain to the best of your abilities why Joey is so stinky and adorable? I've pondered this all day, but I can't really think of a reason. Well, I can. but I just wanted to hear your take.
Well, the reason he's stinky might be because he's a stinky cat. And the reason he's adorable might be because he's a cat. Also, he's very sentient. So I think that explains why he's a stinky cat who's adorable. It's because he's a stinky cat. Thanks for the donation, though, the even thou.
We should be charging animals that are carnivorous with crimes if they murder another animal, but for some reason we consider it unethical if a human consumes one for food. The second issue has to do with this.
That is a straw man. It is, in fact, unethical if a carnivorous animal kills another animal for food. And it is unethical if a human being kills and eats an animal for food. He's presumably debating a vegan. So why would he even say this?
This concept of a mind like ours. I'm aware that mammals all possess like similar substrates, similar parts of the brain that do the things that our brain does, but I think it's pretty clear that none of these animals seem to have developed a mind like ours, such that there is no emergent culture, no emergent like real language capacity or communication skills or the ability to understand things in the past, present, and future, or in other.
He didn't bring those up as morally relevant. He just brought up the fact that they can experience suffering and well-being. What does culture have to do with any of this? So again, if he's saying the morally relevant aspect of the human mind isn't the ability to suffer and experience well-being, but it's the ability to experience culture and knowledge and have human wisdom, okay, again, we're back at it's okay to torture and kill mentally retarded people.
Areas at different parts of time. These are all like really sophisticated things that humans have developed, and I think also go into our understanding of things like pain and suffering as well. You can see an animal that gets...
Who wants to bet that as a percentage of their audiences, Richie has less female viewership than renowned incel Nick Fuentes? Thin thou must not be all there in the head if she still watches Richard given his misogyny and incel beta black pill behavior.
That's great.
It's hurt and it seems to have pain and it might even develop some kind of like associative responses to stimuli in the environment, and it looks bad and it pulls at our heartstrings, and I definitely understand that. But I mean, I would hearken to the first thing in that for the moral argument, in the wild these animals will never develop these moral systems, and then to the second thing, to say that we understand that they're...
He just repeated the same point.
Understanding of pain or suffering is similar to ours is a statement that I just don't think we can make. I don't know if we'll ever be able to make that statement. We can't even see consciousness really in other people. We just kind of assume it's there when the parts of the brain are communicating and they seem to have a conscious experience like ours. But to just automatically assume that animals that lack a whole bunch of other traits that humans have magically have that same capacity for pain or suffering.
You can just use deductive reasoning. So yeah, you can deductively reason that animals don't have an ability to understand mathematics, but you can deductively reason that animals clearly have an ability to experience pain similar to the way we do. Like, this is just so fucking dishonest, and he knows it. Like, by the way, we've seen him interact with animals. He's done this whole bullshit cope of, oh, animals are like robots. They don't really experience pain. They don't have a sense of self. And then you see him, like, pet cats. He was petting a chicken once at, like, some farm sanctuary or something, and he literally apologized to the chicken saying, oh, I'm sorry if I hurt you. So I think he, like, freaked out the chicken or something, and he was worried that he upset it. Like, he's just so full of shit. Soul Child donated $2. Now this is the content I'm subscribed to for more of this kind of vegan-related content. It's just fucking boring, dude. I've been doing this for over a decade, and it's like the same fucking stupid horse shit. Thanks for the donation, dipshit.
I just don't see where the argument would come from to support that statement.
So there's a lot to parse there. I guess the first thing I would ask is, I don't think you fully addressed the claim that I'm making, which is this intuition that we have that it would be wrong to torture a dog for the sake of hearing its screams or something like that. Most of us have this kind of intuition. My question is, how can we explain this intuition except for the principle that it's wrong to cause massive amounts of pain and suffering to beings, even animals, for the sake of relatively trivial benefits like, the pleasure of hearing them scream? So how are you going to explain that principle without,
Yeah, I would argue there's two senses of intuition.
Username Donatellers. I saw in a video you said you crash dieted on 850 calories per day. That's insane willpower. What was your diet like? Did you use Retta? I basically just drank protein powder. No, I didn't use Retta. Feel one would lose ton of muscle in that big of a deficit, but you looked great coming out of it. Yeah. I hold on to muscle very well. Thanks for the donation username.
Tuition pumping that's happening here. The first is that I think we heavily associate dogs with like man's best friend. Like we've bred them to literally be domesticated animals that are friendly with humans. So the idea that you would be killing one, especially in a way where you're literally just doing it to, you know, have some kind of like weird pleasure.
Literally all domesticated animals were domesticated because they're friendly to humans and they're easy to control. Chickens, cows, pigs, sheep, horses, dogs, cats, guinea pigs, rabbits. Literally, like what? Fucking idiot.
I think that hits against that, but I think people also get similar feelings, funnily enough. I watched this unfold in a Twitch stream once where a bunch of people were abusing this robot that was walking back and forth. They were kicking it, it was falling over, and people were like feeling kind of sad. I'm sure people watched Blade Runner 2049, they felt sad.
Oh, there we go. Animals are like robots. Right. And we know this is all bullshit. Look at any video of Destiny interacting with animals. Does he treat it like a fucking robot?
When the one like stick lady got stepped on or whatever, and even though she's a robot, like we have intuitions for these things, but I don't know if that like tells us anything about the nature of the animal itself, because if I were to look historically, it seems like hunting developed as a strong thing that was intuitively correct from basically all of human society. I'm not aware of any like huge civilizations. I don't know how common it is that I guess Indians are vegetarian or vegan, but like for the most part, like every human civilization seems to have developed some form of like hunting or animal agriculture, and there wasn't this huge intuitive pushback against everybody doing it. Sorry, that was a long. Yeah, go ahead.
You could say the same thing about slavery, dumb fuck. Just about every human civilization allowed for slavery for thousands of years. So, like, what is that? Like, does that mean anything to you? Fucking idiot.
I'm still not sure you fully addressed. So you addressed some like reasons why we have these intuitions, but you didn't explain why these intuitions don't show that the action is wrong. That I guess what precisely is it that makes torturing a dog for the sake of hearing its screams, or kicking a robot or something? What makes those actions wrong?
Well, I mean, I feel like the thing that's wrong is it feels like anytime somebody is engaged in some kind of like needless destruction, or is getting some kind of like pleasure out of seeing something else, either break or be in some kind of pain, I think that as people, that just kind of throws up a red flag that it's unlikely that somebody's going to do that to, an inanimate object or an animal, especially one that's bred to be like friendly with us, and not also do that same thing to other people. I think that's the thing that we just immediately kind of recoil from.
Okay, so I mean, to be clear, we put people who torture dogs in prison for many years. I think it's up to 7 years in some states. So you're saying the reason we do this is because it's indicative of some kind of cruel disposition that they might, behave in other ways and other wrong ways to other humans. Is that fair to say?
Well, if you're asking me where the law comes from, I mean, that's a complicated. But I would say
what would justify that putting people in prison for 7 years? I mean, maybe you think that we shouldn't put people in prison for 7 years who, ruthlessly torture a dog for the sake of hearing their screams.
I mean, I would find more alignment with vegans there, in that I think it's strange to put people in prison for, torturing animals like dogs, but animal agriculture is acceptable. But people obviously have a lot of issues with that who are meat eaters. So, but yeah, I mean, I would argue that it's probably because of like there's some kind of like sociopathic tendency or disposition there where you're just beating on a thing to feel good about yourself, whether it was an inanimate object or a dog or a cat or whatever. I think most people would view that in a very
Oh. And here comes the fucking bullshit. There is no fucking world where Destiny would be fine with letting people torture their fucking pets. No fucking world. Why did he talk about Hassan torturing his fucking dog the way he did? It's just absolute fucking horseshit. He doesn't believe anything he's saying right now.
Reprehensible light, but I don't think it speaks to like any kind of like intrinsic moral value or moral character from the creature itself.
Okay, and
otherwise I would ask, why were so many different civilizations okay with developing hunting? Like, how were they able to?
Why were so many civilizations okay with tribal genocide? Why were so many civilizations okay with slavery? Clearly, tribal genocide and slavery is fine. I don't see why there'd be an issue with it. Otherwise, I think we'd have a natural intuition to be against it, right? But so many societies were fine with tribal genocide and slavery. Like, look at Islam. You have an entire fucking religion that says tribal genocide and slavery is okay. And it's, what, the second biggest religion on the planet? Like, obviously, it's okay.
To get past this built-in, you say we have a deep moral intuition against animal cruelty. Why were so many people okay with hunting for animals?
Yeah, I mean, I have to imagine that's extremely divorced from the kind of suffering we inflict on animals today. I mean, hunting for an animal is nothing like the way that we, procure and consume animal products today. As I mentioned, factory farming is one of the greatest sources of suffering on the planet if you think that animals are sentient. And I think that probably sufficiently explains the difference.
Do you think, I'm just curious, just real quick on that, would you be okay with animal agriculture if it was like, I forget what they call it, like torture-free farms or
humanely raised.
Yeah, whatever, like that kind of stuff. Is that an okay form of animal ag to you?
I think it would significantly reduce the badness of something like industrial animal agriculture. But I think there are like a lot of problems with this today. I mean, first of all, there's no such thing as a humanely raised animal. At least it's very hard to find them and like eat them multiple times a day. For one, if you purchase eggs, no matter if they're the pasture-raised eggs, you get them from your aunt's backyard or something, that it is almost 100% likely in the United States that this egg came from an egg-laying hen who was hatched in a hatchery where the male chicks are macerated because they're just not, you don't need them to lay eggs in the egg-laying hen industry. So, I mean, in practice, there's no such thing as a humanely raised animal product, at least completely humanely raised. And then the second thing is just, I mean, when we think about the way that eating animal products affects our psychological attitudes towards beings that we think have some sort of moral value, it's clearly going to affect it negatively, right? I mean, there have been psychological studies that show people who, consume meat, humanely raised meat, the most humanely raised they can find, tend to care less about the suffering of animals. They've done studies on this.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that? People that find the most humanely raised meat possible care less about the suffering of animals? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. So I can't remember exactly how the study worked, but they found people who claim to consume only humanely raised meat, and perform a few like psychological evaluations and find that they're less likely to care about the suffering of animals. They're more careless about the suffering of animals, or callous to it.
Why do they eat more humanely raised products? I'm assuming they cost more then. No, isn't that kind of weird? Or what was the explanation for that?
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure.
Okay.
But besides that point, I think in practice, like I said, it's extremely hard to find humanely raised products in the real world. So you'd have to be like extremely diligent, almost as much as a vegan, in how your effort to reduce the suffering you cause with your animal product choices.
Theoretically, if you could do it though.
Sure. Yeah, that was the original question.
Because my next question is going to be, it feels like then we're already closer in agreement on my end because you're putting them in some different category, because I don't think we would ever agree that there's like a morally okay way to raise and eat humans, right? So it seems like we're already putting animals in some different category, therefore saying it's okay in some ways to morally raise and consume them, no?
Again, I'm willing to concede certain facts about animals generating them having less moral status. I think that there are just still so many problems with the current system that it's in practice, it's not something that's a real concern. For instance, I mean, most of the animals that are killed in the United States are babies. I mean, they're killed at a fraction of their natural lifespan. If the reason killing is wrong or death is bad is because it deprives a being of the future they would have otherwise had, then that seems like a seriously wrong action to take. And yeah, I know. I think most people, they don't know this, but if you ate like a meat animal that came, an animal product that was from an older animal, it doesn't taste as good. It's like a much tougher meat. Most people wouldn't enjoy it. So, yeah.
This homo and lesbian are out of touch with reality, yet I see the hearts in your eyes as you watch this.
And yeah, I guess the point I want to just fully reiterate is that someone who is trying to like eat humanely raised products it would have to be as diligent as a vegan, because they'd have to admit to be charitable with this argument, you'd have to admit that if you make a mistake and you accidentally eat a fast food or something, or from a restaurant where you don't know what an animal product is, you'd have to admit that you've just done something that's somewhat equivalent to torturing a dog for the sake of hearing its screams. Yeah.
Stop you there. 5 minutes, Stephen. You want me to talk for 5? No, I'm just kidding. That was a 5-minute warning. Sorry, you said that eating an animal would be the equivalent of hearing a dog scream. Well, I feel like there's a big difference there, because the person eating the animal is engaging in like a biologically necessary function where we eat, and we know we need to eat to survive. Now, obviously, we don't need to eat animal products to survive, but I think that's a lot different than just torturing an animal for the sake of getting some kind of joyful response out of torturing the animal. I think that even when it comes to animal agriculture, this is the reason why like the PETA videos or whatever videos of animal ag are so effective, is because if people see somebody torturing an animal and all they see is like pain and suffering from the animal and somebody getting some kind of sick, twisted enjoyment out of it, even for an animal that we ordinarily eat, I think most people would be really uncomfortable with that. But I also, does it not bother you, or I guess how do you address or deal with the fact that, in kind of like the animal kingdom, absolutely no moral systems or no moral treatment emerges from any of these animals either? So why would it be, for instance, unethical or immoral for a human to eat an animal, but it would be more ethical to leave that animal in the wilderness?
So what's Destiny's argument against Israel executing Palestinians, torturing them? So like Hamas tortures, rapes, attempts genocide, murders indiscriminately. So Hamas does it, Palestinians do it, so it's okay for Israel to do it to Palestinians. Why is he like saying Israel needs to tone things down and maybe like reassess how they're handling the whole Gaza situation? Like if reciprocity is this concept he believes in, oh, they do it, so why is it wrong for us to do it to them? Like again, this is just bullshit. He doesn't believe in this weird reciprocity concept.
Where another set of animals could, kill it, often in kind of painful, excruciating ways, before they consume it.
Yeah, I mean, the first problem with this kind of justification for why animals don't have moral status is that when we look at, our own human species, we find beings that are incapable of this kind of reciprocal moral behavior that you're...
Like conservatives? I'm so joking. I'm just kidding. I'm so sorry. Go ahead.
And we still think that these beings have moral status. Infants, severely cognitively disabled people, the elderly, the senile... not the elderly, the senile.
So I understand this argument. It kind of runs into like this kind of like name the trade place. Like I would make an ontological argument here. I would say that like mankind or people kind, I don't know what we call it now, but like humanity has like these qualities to it where a fully developed person that's as realized as you can be biologically would be able to do all these things. One of these things is have the capacity for thought and reason such that social contracts and moral systems emerge. Now, maybe every single member of that class, for some reason, a brain injury or some other type of developmental error, isn't able to do it. But as a class of people, like we would say that we have this thing. Therefore, we treat,
Okay, cool. As a class, Palestinians are Nazis, so it's okay to like torture and genocide them.
Our moral status only kind of works if we grant it to every single person in that category. We can't like pick and choose people in the category, because then the whole category itself becomes suspect. So
Right. So why does he have an issue with Israel supposedly executing civilians when, as a category, Palestinians generally, support terrorism? So
I'm not fully convinced that just because some senile or very young children are incapable of reciprocating morals means that, well, that's the same thing as the whole animal kingdom, of all of which will never reciprocate morals. I don't find that argument.
Like, by the way, there's obviously a double standard here, because if he's going to appeal to species normality, then if there were highly intelligent cows or pigs or chickens that had human-level intelligence and sentience, and that could, like, talk, like Rocket Raccoon. Would this guy honestly say it's okay to torture and kill Rocket Raccoon? And if it were the case that, on average, human beings didn't have human wisdom, say there was some, like, weird disease that went through our species, and the majority of us were born, like, mentally retarded, and only, like, 10% of humans born had sapience, would he be like, oh yeah, it's okay to like torture and kill people because like the average is like retarded? Like it's just total bullshit. Like he doesn't believe in any of this.
argument very convincing.
Sure. And before I address, before I address that, I just want to point out that the view you're claiming is to be that you're claiming to be more intuitive is highly unintuitive. The claim that the particular kind of being a being belongs to determines whether the pain that they experience matters morally is highly unintuitive, I think, to most people. I mean, suppose you woke up tomorrow and you didn't know what you were. And all you felt was just the most extreme agony you've ever experienced. It's like an unreflective agony. You're not thinking, wow, I'm in so much pain right now. I'm rational and I'm in so much pain. No, it's just extreme agony. If you ask yourself, or say you find out you're a pig or something like this. I don't know how this would be possible. I guess maybe you're behind a veil of ignorance and you like step back or something. If you find out you're a pig, should we think, wow, I guess my suffering didn't matter?
Send him 2-3 years Dagestan and forget.
Retarded. These people are just stupid. Thanks for the donation, nigga.
Matter at all. This just seems highly unintuitive. But I guess to address your point about
Wait, just real quick on the for the example, again, I find this is a form of intuition pumping because it always feels like, imagine one day you wake up and you're just screaming in agony because you're part of a factory farm, and then the alternative reality is it's like Charlotte's Web where you're on a farm and everybody's happy and the spiders and the pigs and everybody get along with each other. Well, like I'm trying to imagine what's it like living as like a deer and you wake up and there's like a leaf that's moving and you don't know if there's like 15 animals about to jump out and eat you, and that's literally every single day of your existence for your entire life until you get old enough that something finally catches up to you and
Oh, cool. So it's okay to go into the hood and murder black men because they're constantly worried about getting shot. So hear that, guys? It's okay to murder people with PTSD. So soldiers who come back from Iraq, Afghanistan, where they freak out when they hear fireworks, it's okay to shoot and kill them because they're in constant fear because of PTSD. Again, young black men who are gang members or have been involved in gang violence, they're always worried about getting shot by, their ops. I guess it's okay to go to the hood and just randomly shoot black men.
eats you and you die. I don't know what, like, I mean, like, it's hard to even imagine, what is it like? If I think of like a cat or a dog, well, I'm a bad example because I do sit on the computer all day, but for most humans that like to go outside and see the sun and everything, like the idea of being locked up in a house all day seems horrible, but we consider that to be a more humane way to treat a cat than to let them roam the streets for a variety of reasons. So I understand we can intuition pump one way and say, well, this thing would definitely be bad. And it's like, I don't know, I don't even know what it's like to have an experience, like an animal like that. And I certainly wouldn't, because there are other experiences that they have that would be totally not okay to me, but they seem to enjoy or they seem to live in naturally. So
yeah, I mean, you bring up the problem of wild animal suffering, which is interesting. I mean, there are obvious disanalogies between the suffering of wild animals and the suffering we cause to animals on factory farms. I mean, for one, we cause the suffering to animals on factory farms. Animals in the wild, no moral agent is causing the suffering to another, another being, another sentient being. So maybe that plausibly explains the difference. Another thing is maybe you just accept that, like, yeah, wild animal suffering is bad, and we should do what we can to prevent wild animal suffering without, preventing or without allowing some similarly bad action like destroying an ecosystem. Yeah, so maybe that's one way you could explain that.
Does this argument? Okay, I'll make a quick comment. Can I give him the last? Because I feel bad if I have the last one. Well, I feel, does this argument not collapse into like a weird like anti-natalist argument where you can say, well, factory farming is bad because it introduces a lot more suffering into the world, and if you just have like the wilderness as is, then there's going to be less suffering. But like, could I make the argument, for instance, like, well, I actually think it's super ethical if you eat only cats because they're obligate carnivores, so for every one cat you eat, you're actually saving like 1,000 other animals, and then could you just not run this ad infinitum until like the larger creature you eat, the less harmful and suffering there is, until like all the animals on the planet are dead and nobody's suffering anymore? And then you can have the last crack at it. Yeah.
I'm not sure I follow that. I'm wondering, could you repeat?
Well, because cats have to eat other animals to survive generally, right? They're obligate carnivores, carnivores, not carnivores.
My cat eats a vegan diet.
some cats are fun, but not that fun. So I'm just saying that, like, would it not be more ethical to kill or eat animals that only have to eat other animals? Like, if I eat one cat, that cat's not eating 100 other animals, so I'm reducing the suffering. And then could you just not run that same thing with every larger creature until you've eaten or eradicated everything on the planet so there's no more suffering? Like a form of, like, animal anti-natalist argument.
Yeah, I mean, again, it seems implausible that you'd be able to do anything like this without destroying the ecosystem. But I mean, it's an interesting question whether we should, reduce the number of natural predators in a population. I think it's kind of it's irrelevant to the question of whether we should be causing massive amounts of pain and suffering to sentient beings for trivial benefits. But it is an interesting question. I'm just not sure how it fully relates to the factory farming question. And I guess, yeah, I mean, the last point I just want to emphasize is that the amount of suffering we cause to factory farmed animals in a few years is probably equivalent to the amount of suffering that every human on Earth has ever experienced in the history of humanity.
Sengoku, don't you chillers listen to this, nigga?
People keep saying functional strength.
This guy has fucking corn niblets for teeth.
Isn't real. They'll argue that all strength is functional, or that every lift automatically carries over. And they only say that because the word got abused by people saying that squats and deadlifts aren't functional. Now, I saw somebody say that recently. They wildin'. All right, that's a bit too much. Those lifts definitely build real power. But here's the part that nobody wants to admit. Moving weight in a straight line isn't the same as being strong when your body has to rotate.
Yeah, that's why there's rotational exercises.
Brace, react, or move in space. Real life does not happen under a perfectly set bar path.
Yeah, so in order to get stronger in those scenarios, you don't have to train those exact same movements. Strength is extremely general. And if you need something a little more specific, like rotational strength, that's why there's rotational exercises. Thanks for the donation, Sengoku. I kind of don't want to listen to that guy ever again.
This is just true if you run the numbers and you look at the neuroscientific data that suggests that non-human animals, especially land mammals, experience roughly the same amount of pain and pleasure that humans do, given the same amount of aversive stimuli. That fact makes veganism such a heavy moral imperative. I think it's an interesting question whether animals have a right to life in the way humans do, whether it's permissible to humanely raise and kill an animal. The fact of the matter is that this is just not how the world is right now, and people should be vegan. Contingently, Destiny, you should be vegan until we develop cultivated meat, better plant-based meat. So, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Cole. And thanks again to all our student debaters and Stephen.
Well, Destiny's still a lying jackass when it comes to veganism.
Jason Blaha's well over 200-pound, healthy young male client Alex only adds 1 rep to his 200-pound bench press AMRAP after 8 months of coaching. Pathetic.
Yeah, that's literally like 0 gains.
Pathetic.
200 by 5 over 200 pounds body weight. Oh, jeez. Oh my god. Dude, why? Like, if you're working with a coach and after an entire month you've made 0 progress, why the fuck would you keep working with that coach? Oh my god, dude.
2,000 years later.
A year to add 1 rep on a 200-pound bench. Jesus fuck.
Packages starting at $300 per month for my elite online coaching services, guys. upping my rates to $500 per month in January, son. This deep six-figure lifestyle ain't gonna earn itself, hoss. Lock in your spots now.
Yeah, I don't know what he charges. He doesn't charge that much, but that's horrible. Wow.
Go live on YouTube right now just by pressing a button. It's an extra chat that has to be modded, so on and so forth. But that's what's kind of lame about it. Nah, I didn't react to any ROG shit yet. But like I said, my whole internet shit is weirdos, stalkers, dumb niggas, everything like that. So you can give two flying fucks. The numbers you see on any of my videos will never be real because everybody steals my shit. No analytical anything you see on me is authentic because everybody steals my shit. Now imagine if everybody had to
React to this.
Let me see.
Tape this to your delts so that you actually look like you have a little bit of size on you.
Bro, doesn't he do steroids?
When you're like me and all you're doing is partying all the time and not lifting. Boys, how about a little bit of innovation here with this is what I like to call print maxing right here. So you take a TV remote, stuff it down your pants. That's print maxing. That's how you fraud a print, okay?
Yeah, that's kind of pathetic. Bruh, the guy's on steroids and he pads his fucking shoulders. Thanks for the donation, nigga. Larry, you don't need to tell us women being retarded.
It's a red flag for me. Taking
the leftovers
food on your first date. On your first date with someone, leave the food.
Leave the food.
I have to agree.
All right.
But who wanted to take the food, you or her?
We both didn't want it to go to waste. So I was like, do you want it? And she was like, no. And I was like, all right, I guess I'll take it. So I took it. There were two separate packages, right?
Lauren, can you tell us why taking the food is
Yeah, I'd love to hear this.
an ick?
It has something to do for me, like
Oh, this is the toxic as fuck YouTube channel where there's this chick who acts like a dating expert, but she gives like some of the most insanely like toxic, man-hating, like dumb bitch woman fucking takes you've ever heard.
financially. I think that leftovers, when you take leftovers, it's when you're like in a relationship.
Yeah. Like this is the most toxic fucking shit imaginable. I think it's like a sign that a guy makes more money when he doesn't take the leftovers because like he could just buy more food. It's like hot when a guy throws out food for no reason. It's like, seriously, you're not going to go on a second date with a guy because he took leftovers home from a restaurant. It's like, these are the most horrible, toxic fucking women you'd never want to deal with in your entire fucking life. Like, I'd take notes. Anything that bothers them like this, like taking home leftovers, do that. Like do that on a date. Because if the chick doesn't call you back, because you took home leftovers, that's not somebody you'd ever want to fucking date anyway. Like these are the most fucking horrible, judgmental, toxic bitch fucking women on the fucking planet. And then these same women will fucking complain about like a dude having a problem with like their girlfriend gaining weight or something. But then they don't want to date a guy who will take home leftovers. Like it's just fucked.
As a first date, you just eat whatever you want. And if there's leftovers, you can leave them there and then you can go your separate ways.
Jesus Christ. Thanks for the donation, Larry.
everything I say only on my channel, and you couldn't see it nowhere else. Nigga, I get nasty views every time. Same thing with viewers and everything, bro. These niggas restream me, be stealing my shit here, there. Like, I never get my real shit anywhere. So whatever I do, I mean, obviously I have enough of a fan base to keep shit going. Like I said, there's people to be having 4K viewers, 1,800 subs. So clearly my chat loves me. That's evident. Like I said, look, when somebody is the most pirated person on the internet, they'll never see their full numbers. Oh my God, bro. As soon as I cut... Bro, literally the first person I played was a stream sniper. As soon as I cut on MK, these niggas ran to their bum ass system stuck in their parents' house to cut on the game the same time as me and snipe me with the same characters. You can't make this shit up. I didn't cover nothing yet, man. I didn't do just chatting yet. Damn, bro. You know what people should do? That hop on the internet looking for sympathy, out crying, praying to God everybody's on their side about shit. Start up a GoFundMe. Instead of bitching, moaning, and crying and trying to clout chase, just start up a GoFundMe.
Women with one body are worthless apparently.
Is this the Clav video where he's like insane?
You gotta find a virgin, you know?
Yeah. Good luck with that.
I'm telling you, once a girl is not a virgin, her value is nothing.
So is a girl with 3 bodies a hoe to you?
Yes. The biggest
Yeah, the
one
most
body is
valuable
a hoe.
thing. The most valuable thing a woman can own is virginity.
Yeah, because their brain chemistry completely alters when they...
I don't know where the fuck this idea came from. Apparently, getting cream pied or something changes your brain chemistry.
They have sex. They're never going to forget their first body, their second body, their third body. So the more that they acquire, the worse that they get. But it's still bad. You know, going from 0 to 1 is like an exponential decrease in value that's so imperceivable to normal guys.
Yeah, dude. The older you get, the more of a fucking weird red flag is to find somebody who's a virgin, male or female. Like, I'm 34. If I was dating a chick who is around my age, and she's still a virgin, it's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, what the hell's going on? I would consider that a red flag. That'd just be weird. His take on this is just fucking bizarre too. Cause like he has a double standard, right? Cause I can guarantee you he'd never waste his time dating a chick who wouldn't have sex with him, you know, at least after maybe a few weeks, you know? So women are whores if they have sex, but I want them to have sex with me. Like, it's just fucking stupid.
Greg Doucette says that white bread is a healthier carb source than white rice because the white bread has more protein and fiber. What are your thoughts on that?
So all
Who the fuck cares?
of you have this misconception that rice is some kind of magical bodybuilder food. Why? What's in it? It's got no vitamins. It's really got no fat, no bends.
It's just refined grains. It's the same shit. Thanks for the donation, Ghost. I walked 30 miles today, streamed the whole thing too. I did it in 11 and a half hours. That sounds like a huge pain in the ass.
It should be that simple. If there's anybody that wants to sit back, make a whole sympathy video, jacking off, crying, saying XYZ, make a f***ing GoFundMe. Let niggas turn your sympathy into a bag. What
the fuck is going on here?
Why do the sympathy shit with no GoFundMe? Exactly, the Cinnabon shit got over 100K. If I'm gonna drop a sympathy video crying and trying to make the world feel sorry for me and I'm a worthless nobody, I'm looking for clout, I'm looking for notoriety, I'm looking for people to be on my side, I'm bashing somebody else. Just do a just come up with a GoFundMe, my nigga. Like a Sub-Zero and a Scorpion back to back. Why drop a video? Why drop videos talking about somebody, you know, trying to belittle not even belittle, but trying to sit over here and make it like a person is the worst person you've ever fucking known and all this type of lame shit looking for sympathy when you could just put a GoFundMe link. Just do the GoFundMe. Like, what are people trying to do? What are you trying to accomplish here? Just do the GoFundMe. You got the sympathy shit, you want to make a full-blown video talking about this, talking about that, do the GoFundMe too. Be smart about it. It's a black dude mad that I'm playing, that he can't beat me with Sub-Zero. You hear that shit? Yo, I heard somebody black talking. Look at that. Just a black looking to do the same shit over and over again. Look, jump, and you dropped it, black. What kind of name is Gleek? Lame ass black. Yeah, mad because he can't ice slide me all day. Sorry, Gleek. That's my response to the people that kept saying respond to the Twitter shit. My response is very simple. If there's somebody that I don't even know who the that person is, by the way, but if there's somebody that can sit there on their ass, drop a whole video talking about XYZ and making up all this random shit, bitch, just do a GoFundMe. Like that's what I'm saying. Instead of like, if you're gonna do it so they could call them all types of N-words and everything, and got a GoFundMe bag. The white lady, they got. We're ready to crash out. I'm the most solid black. You said, how else would we be on the verge of being united? We blew that in 2020. The fuck you mean? 2020 was supposed to be a changing point in blacks where we just show society we're not on that dumb shit. We really want.
This YouTube shit is annoying the fuck out of me.
We really want change. We're tired of being labeled thieves. We're tired of being labeled killers. We're tired of being labeled just super animated. We're just tired of the stereotypes. Instead, we fed into them. So this right here is this right here is an example on how blacks, right? I can say this because I'm black. How blacks have the fakest unity on the planet. Back to the clip that we reacted to yesterday. Tylo presses one of the hosts at the 2025 Streamer Awards for making a joke about Kai being Diddy when it wasn't even that fucking deep. So let's just go ahead and look at some of the comments of all the fake unity I'm seeing here. Trust and believe if we had this type of unity, man, could we soar to the fucking stars. Well, you know what? We might actually be a multi-planetary species right now if niggas were really this fucking united. I mean, excuse me, if niggas were this fucking united. Excuse my lingo. United. I love it when black men stand up for each other. Hold on a second. When the fuck do black men on a regular stand up for each other? That
is that Spriggan? That's Spriggan. Gay faggot and retailers. Hey dude, got a lipid panel done recently. Total cholesterol is 153, HDL 49, LDL 91, triglyceride 66. Are those numbers decent? They're okay. I would work on lowering your LDL. Ideally your LDL would be under 70. Under 100 is considered low risk, but under 70, like, your risk approaches 0. So I would try to get your LDL under 70. Lower is better, but under 70 would be ideal. So losing body fat, lowering your saturated fat intake, doing more cardio, upping your fiber intake. Those are all things that can lower LDL. Otherwise, like, HDL is fine. Triglycerides are fine. Thanks for the donation, though, gay faggot. I just need to pee. I will be right back.
Your one homeboy at the concert who is a Svaria fan.
I'm David Helby, I'm 20 years old. I'm ready to rock.
Dawn, 13.
Who are you here to see tonight? Judas Priest!
It's funny how stuff like that kind of flew under the radar back in the day. She also does not look 13. Really weird. Thanks for the donation, nigga.
NGL, I remember you in the early days during the Blaha season. I remember the early videos and how you looked. Never thought Yudge's man like that to do or on right her gear. Imagine if geared gains versus new.
That's great. That's a good one.
This TikToker just got hit with felony charges after blasting pepper spray at a boat full of tourists, including a toddler, because her phone was too loud and someone let her know, hey, can you please turn down your phone? So her response was, how is that a valid response? Like, excuse me.
On the Riverwalk is in jail. Investigators say the attack happened on November 15th
obviously.
and left a woman, toddler, and multiple passengers hurt. Now, Cassidy Trevino faces 3 charges.
Trevino's bond is set at just over $100,000, and the 17-year-old was reportedly already on probation when it all happened.
You're 7.
Well, she's cooked. Good riddance. What a bitch.
That's a real question, because I'm seeing on Twitter everywhere all day. Hey, Shay.
Prancing around the internet, acting like the CryptoZoo saga is over.
Literally, right before you walk down the aisle.
If I'm here, you know it's good news.
What's the news,
Class
Jeff?
action dismissed.
Yes, bro. The whole thing?
18 months. 18 months you waited for that. It happened literally minutes before you walked down the aisle.
That's a good sign for go.
He has been found innocent.
Good news. The CryptoZoo class action lawsuit against me got officially dismissed, which is a pretty big deal. Pretty significant for me, just because I've been on this pursuit to try to clear my name and unwind years of this fake scammer reputational damage narrative that got spun up. And so this is like a good first step in that, to be validated by the federal court, the United States judicial system. And what I've been saying for the past 3 to 4 years, I didn't scam anyone. I'm innocent, and that this Logan Paul is a scammer narrative is absolute bullshit. I never sold a fucking token. I never made $1 from this project.
Yeah, fucking right. There is some huge updates today on the CryptoZoo lawsuit that Logan Paul definitely doesn't want you to see or hear. I could not believe this when I read it. Shout out to Spencer Cornelia's video. All the information I have is from that. I got linked it, I went through it, and oh boy, this is why it's great when these things go to the courtrooms, because they have discovery and things are going to come out for Logan that he absolutely doesn't want people to see. The CryptoZoo lawsuit filed a second amended class action complaint, claiming that Logan Paul and his cronies did in fact profit from CryptoZoo, which Logan Paul since the start has absolutely denied.
Never sold a fucking token. I never made $1 from this project.
We have some absolutely juicy details to start this video off. The lawsuit claims that Logan Paul's band of merry pricks started selling on all of Logan's fans when CryptoZoo launched and peaked in price to over $600 million in market cap. This is information we knew, that CryptoZoo had these bad actors that Logan Paul just didn't vet, didn't do any research on, and they were dumping on Logan's fans as they were buying and raising the price. This claim will give us new information about Logan Paul himself and how he allegedly profited as well. The claim also links an AMA with the CryptoZoo founders. Now, we're going to hear a lot of things that the CryptoZoo founders say that we will know now in hindsight to be absolute bullshit. For example,
We've really come a long way. The team has been hard at work. Right now, we currently have about 20 to 26 developers working around the clock to get CryptoZoo up and running.
20 to 26 developers is firstly insane. Now we know the game never got made, never actually functioned. Yeah, I'm going to call... Oh yeah, it smells of absolute bullshit. And then we go on to a character named Greenbaum, who is one of the founders who Logan Paul hired. This claim says that when Greenbaum, one of the founders, started unloading his tokens at launch, that Logan Paul became furious. Paul's anger was not over any violation of his rules, but the fact Greenbaum had managed to profit first, while Paul himself had not realized his gains. In retaliation, Paul orchestrated a full conversion of the Zoo token smart contract to a nearly identical coin called Zoo Token version 2, and locked Greenbaum out of the project, freezing his remaining holdings. Paul described the maneuver internally as a surgical removal of the snake from the grass. So here we have this situation where Greenbaum, he decided to sell, unload. He's a bad actor. Clearly, Logan Paul gets mad, this claim saying it was more for the fact that he wasn't profiting first. We're going to find out some juicy details later, which will tie us all together. But in this situation, you could kind of give Logan Paul you could look at him and be like, oh, maybe he's doing the right thing here. Someone is clearly a bad actor. He's ousting them, creating a new token so there's no more bad actors involved. This is absolutely not the case, by the way, as we get further into the claim. But this is an important detail to keep in the back of your head. The claim goes on to say that after locking Greenbaum out of the project, Paul immediately began extracting value from the project for his own personal gain. As on September the 3rd, CryptoZoo began selling egg NFTs to the public, generating around $2.6 million. A couple days later, September the 5th, Paul paid himself approximately approximately $943,229 from CryptoZoo's accounts. The very next day, Paul paid himself approximately $364,000 from the CryptoZoo accounts, around $1.3 million. This case, where this information, you would assume, has been found in Discovery, tracking Logan's wallets, tracking CryptoZoo funds, has discovered that Logan Paul extracted $1.3 million from the CryptoZoo funds. But Logan, you said you never profited from this absolute shit show.
Never sold a fucking token. I never made $1 from this project.
We're gonna keep going.
I mean, technically, extracting money and profiting are two different things, so he might have invested more than 1.3 million. So he might not necessarily be lying there, but yeah, still. He's probably full of shit.
Further, because honestly, this claim is pretty mind-blowing. We now have these leaked messages from Logan. Logan Paul, do you feel comfortable telling the Discord that I recouped expenses and the remainder was used for development? Nah, don't say that. They will just say, what development? Very valid, because you guys, what the fuck were you guys developing?
Jack Doherty was not sentenced to 7 years in jail.
No product ever got launched. Logan Paul, I won't, but I'd like a statement like this. I'm 100% against saying you recouped expenses. If you'd like to know why, I'd be happy to explain in summary. It looks like this. Logan recouped his investment as unscathed. Everyone is down 99%. Hey, Logan, what happened to you getting burned too? I thought, your whole CryptoZoo defense and stuff like this was, I took a loss. I was investing all my money into this and nothing ever happened.
This was a scam perpetrated by me. I didn't make any fucking money, bro. I've lost $500,000 on this. Where's the scam?
Here we're finding out that you recouped expenses, meaning that you didn't take any hit whatsoever. Only your fans did. And why would you be so desperate for this statement if, in my opinion, you're not trying to cover something up that could seem a bit shady if someone actually looked at the blockchain and found this out? Yeah, it smells fucking fishy, mate. And because next we find out, what were Logan Paul's expenses?
I want lentil soup. I want a really, really big bowl of lentil soup. That would be rather delish, if you ask me.
What was he trying to cover? We find out in Logan's own cross-claim filing. This is from him. He admits he only incurred a $200,000 expenses out of his own pocket. So if what they claim to have found in Discovery about Logan Paul paying himself $1.3 million is true, it stands to reason that Logan Paul made $1.1 million in profits from CryptoZoo, which didn't work. Didn't deliver anything he promised. I mean, holy shit. Logan Paul this whole time, his whole monologue, his whole narrative was, guys, this can't be a scam because I never profited.
Never sold a fucking token. I never made $1 from this project.
Which one, that whole argument is bullshit because you sold and pushed a product to your fans to invest in. It never worked. The development never worked. We're going to find out some even more juicy details about the development and how they were pushing something they knew they never had. Because we also find out from his claim that Logan Paul allegedly knew that the game was shit and didn't work, but continued to push and pump the price with blatant lies. The claim goes on to say by mid-September 2021, after the instant sellout of the Eggs NFT and the influx of hundreds of millions in trading volume, Paul faced pressure to sustain market enthusiasm and keep the price of Zoo Token version 2 artificially high. Privately, Paul already knew that the CryptoZoo game did not exist in any meaningful capacity. On September the 8th, 2021, Paul was shown a test of CryptoZoo's supposed virtual marketplace and told his team it looked confusing, incomplete, and his first impressions were, what the fuck is this? Rather than disclose that the CryptoZoo game was still non-existent, Paul doubled down with misrepresentations. Bear in mind, September the 8th, he was shown a test of the game, and his reaction was literally, what the fuck is this? This is incomplete. September 15th, literally less than a week later, Logan Paul does an CryptoZoo AMA, and this is the shit he started spewing.
I can't wait for you guys to see the game. It's so much fun. I'm addicted to it. My friends are addicted to it. Every developer is addicted to it. Every other person on the team. We love playing it.
I mean, what the fuck? So a week before, you're telling your whole development team, what the fuck is this? It's incomplete, it's confusing, clearly not having a game. But publicly, you're telling people, oh my god, we're all hooked. This is like crack, it's better than crack. I can't peel my developers' eyes away from the masterpiece that is CryptoZoo, which we also know, again, today, to this day, he never fucking released.
Wanting to believe what he's saying.
Why couldn't you just be honest with people who invested and your fans? Say, look, we ran into some roadblocks, we're fixing it, we're trying to develop every day. If this wasn't supposed to be a harebrained scheme to just earn money, that would be the approach. Be honest, be open with your investors. Trying to maintain and artificially pump something that has no depth, no actual content. That's
today we go.
All right, well, Logan Paul's an asshole. Who'd have figured?
Certainty, but it's certainly possible that this was something else and then they just painted some chevrons on it and made some things red.
Yeah, they are shortcutting their way to. This is.
Yes.
Space King has in fact reached to the Far East. What a fucking message out there of the rest of her fit, because this like indicates that
It's out there. Beach with posterized color.
You know, girls' butts are pretty great. They really are just fantastic. Gravy. New England classic. You know, garlic bread is pretty terrific. I really like garlic bread. Mushroom gyro. Spaghetti.
Gravy for this season and everyday use if you're into gravy. And I'm going to share two of my favorite ways to prepare it. One, super indulgent. Two, super indulgent, gluten-free. So to get started on this, I am going to be using the Two Rivers mushroom broth, the Lion's Mane mushroom broth that they're selling.
Let me see if that's on Amazon. It's really weird how dude, it's so creepy how search engines work, because as soon as I put in lion's mane mushroom broth, it autofilled to Two Rivers mushroom broth. So like it knows that I was watching the video. Kind of creepy how we're being watched. Yeah, they don't have it on Amazon.
Selling right now in Sprouts across the country. And they're just an amazing company. I've talked about them before. They sponsor some of the videos I do, and I don't accept a lot of brand sponsorships, so these guys are doing fantastic. And they're gonna make this holiday season super easy, super delicious, and super functional.
Dogs are so sentient.
I'm gonna make a super decadent version. First, I went to the store, an Asian grocer, or you can get these at a lot of supermarkets nowadays, is just one of these king oyster mushrooms. Now, if you do not have king oyster mushrooms, you can use regular mushrooms, and I wouldn't use that many, probably just a handful, slice them up. But these ones I want for specific reason. And that reason being is the texture and the look and the mouthfeel of these. If you want that reminiscent feel, look and feel, or if you're having meat eaters over, this, there's no compromising. I just take the bottom part off and I'll use a fork. And what we're looking for are the shreds. So like usually you make gravy with shreds of the animal. And this one we're gonna use mushrooms. So I'm just gonna tear it apart like this.
I like his dog.
I'm gonna move this. So I got a better shot over there. And I'm gonna rip them into little shreds, like smaller than the long ones. Like I could probably cut this in half again and then cut this off. And I'm just gonna shred it up into little pieces. And
no lol degenerate. It's just that Two Rivers is one of the only companies that makes lion's mane mushroom broth. It was 7th on the drop-down menu for me when I searched the same phrase. You're a retarded boomer that doesn't know how indexing works, Lamau.
Whatever. Just like butts. That's all that really matters at the end of the day. Just rear ends. Girls poop too, you know. Thanks for the donation, 21st.
And you don't need a lot. I probably only need one mushroom, so I'll just use one on this one because it's just for the garnish and a little bit of texture while you're eating it. And it's gonna make it just over the top, elevated. That is gonna be plenty. So just one mushroom. Now you can save this and add it to something else, or if you wanna add it to this, I just slice it super, super thin, like super thin. Funny story, when I was working in England and I used to work with Smithy Mushrooms, John Dorian, good friend of mine, miss him dearly, loved his accent. He was telling me when they first launched these king oyster mushrooms into the major groceries there, people were taking these and cutting off the top and then discarding the bottom because nobody knew what to do with them, which to me just blew my mind and was super crazy because it's this part that is the most meaty-like textures because of the way the fibers run and can shred and they hold together and they're just super, super good. So once you get this done, first thing we're gonna light this. Just like a medium-low heat. This is a light olive oil. Just gonna add a little bit to the bottom here. And I'm gonna let that heat up first. I want that to be hot. Add the mushrooms. Oops. So we'll just sear these off. I just want a little bit of brown color on these.
Why don't you put up that thumbnail of you looking like a Down syndrome retarded ass nigger with the pink background? Maybe make it say something like girls are gay since you're an incel. Maybe that'll attract more female viewers to your stream.
Maybe some other time. Thanks for the donation, 21st.
Just to crisp them up, just a slight bit. Take the chill off them. So you don't actually have to use them if you don't want to use them. Or you could use another different kind of mushroom. Or you could use garlic. You could add whatever you'd like if you want like half an onion, julienne in here, whatever you like to put in your gravy. So I'm going to use a half of a stick of plant-based butter. And this one is made with avocado oil. So I'm going to use a half a stick right in there.
That's a
I'm
lot
going
of
to turn
butter.
that heat even lower. And as that's melting, just make sure you get all the mushrooms off so they're not.
Yeah, this is definitely sometimes food, not everyday food.
Sticking to the bottom or anything. I'm going to use flour in this one. I'm going to show the next one how to do one gluten-free. So I'm going to start with one.
The Swiss Chalet gravy packs are actually vegan friendly. I think that's the only vegan friendly gravy at my fucking local store. Yeah. I'm surprised they have like no good options on Amazon. Yeah, like practically none. Fucking retarded. You know what's annoying too? You can look for mushroom gravy and it all has like dairy in it. Like, what the fuck? Mushroom gravy. They all have modified milk ingredients. Psychotic. The people who formulate these foods are just psychopaths. There is no reason whatsoever to do that, you know? Absolutely none.
1 tablespoon. Maybe a little bit more. It's like a tablespoon and a half. Cook that into it. Essentially, gravy is super easy, and it's all about just the technique. A little bit of fat, a little bit of flour, almost like equal parts-ish. Ensure there's no clumps. Make sure that flour is all incorporated. You could make a roux, so this is called a roux when you add flour, fat and flour. So flour and butter in this case. You could use oil. You could do the same thing with the oil. You could do it with, you know, if you're using animal products, obviously they use animal products to do it with. I do not. I'm looking for it to brown just a little bit. I want the flour to cook out in the fat, and I want a little bit more color in there. And you can make the roux ahead of time. So in the restaurants, we would just take a few pounds of butter and equal parts of flour and make a roux and brown it so it was nice and colorful already, and then use that and just start with that. Or you can just make it in the pot like this, because at home I don't have any use to have a big bucket of roux. Although, knowing me, I probably would do that. This is good. So now you don't have to add this. I want to do it super decadent. And I'm going to add a little bit of sherry. Maybe like a quarter a cup. Again, optional. If you don't want to add alcohol, don't. But I like that little bit of sweetness to it. The sherry just reminds me of what we had growing up at my grandmother's house. And then I'm going to start adding water just to dilute it a little bit. And I'll just add it a little bit at a time and cook that up, incorporate it. I also might add a little bit of dried sage. It's probably like half a teaspoon right there. And then I also have a little bit of poultry seasoning. And I'm going to add a pinch of that, maybe 2 pinches, just to give it that seasonal flair, we'll call it. I'm going to add a little bit more water. I'm going to add about half of this, so that was like 1 cup of water. Now you can double this recipe if you like a lot of gravy. I'm just showing it with 1 box. I might use 2, and then you could double it with the water and make a lot, which is always a good idea. But for now, it's just going to be me. And actually, I'm cooking for a family, which I will give a lot of this away to, that I met at the grocery store the other day. Nice young vegan family, which is good. So turn that up. It's almost just a little bit higher, so it's almost a medium-low heat. And I like cooking it up slowly like this, adding liquid slow. Yes, you could use hot liquid, or you should. So at a restaurant, I would be having the stock already on the stove, already hot, and adding it to it, which is a great idea. So what I'm gonna start adding now is the broth. So I'm just gonna add this slowly. It's already getting a nice brown color, which is great. I actually love that. So it'll thicken up as it goes, just scraping the sides down as we go too. It's lion's mane broth. No cholesterol, no sugar, totally vegan, adaptogenic, good source of potassium, low in fat and low in saturated fat. And it's super delicious. I love it. It makes a lot of things super easy for me. It's starting to come to a slow boil. You can also use a whisk just to make sure there's no clumps, although I did a pretty good job of it in the beginning, because the slower you do it and the more you stir it from the beginning and adding liquid a little bit at a time, it just incorporates easier that way. It's the way I learned how to do it, to avoid making any lumps, because I used to make batches of this for like 400 or 500 people when we were doing it for buffets and when I was back in that style of cooking. And I'm just gonna wanna cook that out probably for like 5 or so minutes, just on a medium-low. You could add black pepper, you could add salt if it needs it. We'll just figure that out right here. Yum. Man, that broth is just delicious, and it adds just such a beautiful, fragrant flavor to it. It's so nice. To me, this is done. It's delicious. It's got a nice thickness to it. But if you like it thicker, you could add a little bit more roux in the beginning. Or like I said, you can make it ahead of time and add it if you want. If it gets too thick, thin it out with a little bit of stock, a little bit more broth if you have that, a touch of water. It's up to you. What I like to do at the end, probably a teaspoon of butter, and we're gonna put that in there, and it's called mounting. And that's just gonna give it a nice shine, add to the silky, velvety texture of it all, which is what makes a delicious gravy. All right, so don't laugh. I don't have a gravy boat. I'm just me and Frankie. But every last drop of this, so good. Now, crazy thing about this gravy right here, especially with this broth, is it could be a soup base. If you cut up a bunch of onions, celery, maybe some potatoes, some carrots, roasted them off, added to this, you have a delicious soup as well. It's just so good. The broth is so versatile. On to the next.
Dude, there's like half a stick of butter in there. It's fucking crazy. Oh, it's too bad you can't eat something like that every day.
Next one. This one's even easier, and it's going to be gluten-free. Add the whole box of broth right to it. I also have a little bit of water, so I have 2 cups here, but I'm only going to add 1 cup of water. Close to a cup. It allows for some dilution, and I'm totally happy with that. So the more gravy I can make, the better. If I have a couple boxes, I would use a couple boxes, 3, and then that much more water, just to have a lot of gravy, because I do love gravy. And since it's just me and just a few others that I'll be feeding, I only need the 1. Lower this heat. It was on high heat, so I'm going to lower it to a medium-low. As this comes to a boil, I'm going to use cornstarch. So I just have a little bit of cornstarch here. I'm probably going to use maybe a teaspoon of cornstarch, and I'm going to add it to this container here. And then I'm going to mix in a little bit of water. I'll probably add a tablespoon of water. And then I just like to mix that in with my finger. I can feel if there's any lumps in it this way, and it just dissolves. You could add a little bit of sherry like we did before. You could add Marsala wine or none. This one I'm going to keep it super clean, super simple. This one you can use on the fly. It doesn't have to be just for a holiday use as well. When I mean on the fly, like any weeknight dinner would be amazing to have this. So as that comes to a boil, I'm going to lower it to a medium. And then I'm going to start adding. So with the cornstarch, if you leave it alone, it'll all settle and you're going to want to mix it back up again. So I'm just going to mix that up. And then I'm just going to add this. And then it'll immediately start thickening up. And just stir it in. And that is basically it, the base. This is how you could do a gravy like super quick. A little cornstarch and water. You could use potato starch, whatever one of the starches. But to make sure it's gluten-free, this is a great option. And then I just like to cook that out for like 5 minutes or so. If it's not thick enough, which I would not judge it until it cooks down just a little bit, because it all comes together, you can always add more. So if I want to take another teaspoon cornstarch and add another teaspoon of water to that, it doesn't take much to dissolve it. And just do the same thing, making sure there's no clumps in there. But I wouldn't do that unless you know it's not thick enough to your liking. I don't need gravy super thick, but I do want it a little bit thicker than this.
I like thick gravy. Thick gravy with potatoes is delish.
So I'm going to add a little bit more. And that looks good right there. Another thing you can add is plant-based butter. So I'm just going to add about a tablespoon, just like we did the last one, and whisk that in. It just helps, it gives it a nice silky shine. Again, adding a little bit of fat. There's no fat in this at all. If you're whole food plant-based, no oil, don't add the butter, don't add oil. This is your easy solution. And you could add sage, you could add whatever, but I believe this broth is good enough for me. But you taste it yourself and make it your own. It's okay to have different flavors and different likes. That's what makes it didn't happen again, except.
I'm gonna have to take a little nap. Oh, just 5 minutes or something. I'm dozing off. Oh, I'm awake now.
Speak, I wrote down 4 things in order for me to say them to myself before I speak out loud, just to train my mind to make sure I'm showing up the best way I can. And one way I'm doing that is to always think before I speak, is it true? Is it necessary for me to say? Is it kind? Super important. Like, is it kind? Am I being kind? Am I adding joy and bodhicitta and love to the world instead of just all the BS out there? And is it my best? Am I being my best? It's important for me to show up and be the best version of myself. And I understand this is a cooking channel, you guys. I get it. But I am in my head a lot, and I feel like probably a lot of other people think around us. Anyways, that's my rant. If you've ever lived on or even visited a New England coastal town, you know the feeling. I grew up with this popular dish, and today I'm tapping back into my roots. You know, some people like to go down here, and it won't move. 2 russet potatoes, peeled. Medium low, because I want it to come. You can use both, but I'm going to show how to do it with king oyster mushroom. So once you so well, it's like that, perfect. So just probably 3 or 4. Put the heat a little bit here. Not that. So I'm going to add 1 stick. Just going to stir it up a little. Please test that, because sometimes. And I'm going to probably give some of this to my neighbors, or at least I'll have it for the next few days. Oh yeah, look at that. Delicious. A good amount because the fajita rub. And it. In this episode of Make It Wicked, I'm taking inspiration from Aki's Kitchen, found here on YouTube, in which he does a classic pork gyro, and I'm going to show how to make it just as delicious, but with mushrooms. Hey there, Derek Sarno here, and welcome to my kitchen. Today we're going to unlock the secrets of this majestic bear's head mushroom, more commonly known as lion's mane mushroom. We're known for its uncanny resemblance as we transform it into a true culinary masterpiece, homemade, extra
handle it. So it will be able to take what I'm going to do to it. And that is going to be with this amazing marinade. So the special is to help add the color. Look at this Greek restaurant in Hampton Falls, New Hampshire. It's not there anymore, but it mushrooms to that. That brings the mushroom and creates it to be like a raw meat quality. We're going to let it cool down on the oven rack that sits over a pan so it can drip dry. And then we're going to squeeze the excess marinade out of it. We're going to save that liquid and make the marinade that we'll then let it sit in. But right now, this is a whole food, plant-based, all natural, meaty item. It is so pliable. It reminds me of any kind of raw meat that I used to cook with before, except it's mushroom. Some oregano, Greek yogurt. So the skyscraper, we're gonna this. It's just I like in the restaurant that I used to. Good size portion.
You know what? I'm gonna just get to bed. I'm fucking tired as shit. I'll be on tomorrow though. But hope you all had fun. Big thanks to everybody who donated on Streamlabs. Really appreciate it. See you all tomorrow. Nighty night.